Alright, we are back. I just took a short break, and I'm ready to jump into the second half of this trial. So, I do want to check the truth bullets because, first of all, I definitely should have picked Akane first instead of Ayame, even though I've been like in the select the culprit screen. Because like I know I'd been suspecting Ayame a ton, but like the way Yuki was reacting, like I can't believe it's the case, or like say it ain't so type of like thoughts to himself. That made it pretty obvious it was Akane. I don't know. I just hoped I was right for my initial prediction, although I did have Akane as my secondary person who I thought it was. So I do want to look through these though to see what we haven't used yet, on the off chance there's still more to this trial. Because after the first trial, like after the intermission for the first trial, there really wasn't that much left. It's pretty much just accusing the killer, do a little rhythm game, I forget what it's called, and then do the closing argument, and that's it. I feel like there might be a little bit more to talk about here. So like we talked about this, I think we talked about the fire. The fire's been solved. Stomach wound was just we talked about that because she didn't die instantly. What was this about? She should have. Okay, a lot. She took a long time to die. I don't know if we referenced this specifically, but I feel like we did kind of talk about this. Okay, we haven't talked about this yet. We talked about that. We talked about this. I feel like this is sort of just like the reason for the fire, I think. We haven't talked about this. This is, I guess, presumed to have just caused the fire, or maybe to burn this. We haven't talked about this. We haven't talked about that. We haven't talked about that, although Sarugi said they might be unrelated. Well, I mean, we have talked about that. We haven't talked about this. We talked about that a lot. And we talked about this as well. And we talked about that. And we talked about this. And we talked about that. Okay, so it's like there's still a decent amount that we haven't talked about. So I don't want to say for sure that's definitely Akane, although there is a lot pointing to her. And I said she was really suspicious. Even when you get this testimony, it points to Akane being the culprit, and we get it right at the end like it's a big revelation. But again, I just feel like it just seemed a little obvious. So anyway, we'll see. I guess it wasn't that obvious because I didn't pick it, so... Anyway, let's jump into the second half, or, well, we'll see if it's the second half or just the ending of the second class trial. And hopefully I won't have to restart at any point, although I guess at least this is a checkpoint, but the beginning of the first half, I did not do that well. Tyra, among us, the word made refers to, or rather, I can't think of anyone else but you. Akane. That's... It's really her. You killed Tamori, and also they've just been suspecting her so much this trial. Like, again, it's usually they don't suspect the culprit that early on in the trial, so which makes me a little. I mean, it got shut down and we moved on, but like we never really fully exonerated her or anything. So I don't know. I'm still not fully sold, but it's really her. You killed Tamori? No, wait a minute. Something. There must be misunderstanding. I mean, something like this. This is too much. Please, wait a minute, everyone. I have nothing. I didn't do anything. Yeah, what do you have to say, Mikako? I'm curious. The dying message was written by a person. The Lord does not lie. As long as the dying message refers to the word made, it has already been revealed. But again, like, do we know that Kizuna wrote that? Because I don't remember seeing in the investigation, like when we looked at her body, I don't remember seeing blood on her finger. So is it not possible the culprit wrote that? Although they probably would have written it a little clearer if they were writing it, so we have an easier time understanding it. Was it a lie at the beginning of the trial to cover up her crime? No. Tyra, tell me with your own words. Are you really the culprit? Me? I'm not the killer. Akane. Why am I the culprit? The dying message may say the word made, but there's a big X next to it. You guys have only interpreted the made, didn't interpret the X after that. The X could literally be an X. Doesn't that mean negative? In other words, it means not the made, so I'm not the culprit. So then why would they write it at all? I don't know if yet if what Tyra said is true, but certainly, as she said, we haven't fully decoded the dying message yet. Okay, the X at the end. Well, if you simply look at it, it really looks like it says not the maid, but if the dying message means not the maid, as Tyra said, I would rather be more suspicious of Tyra. Huh? Why? Don't you think so? Who is the killer? I don't recall seeing messages saying, who is not the killer? Seems illogical to write an innocent one in blood by the victim. Rather, you would think it's not the maid to take yourself off the suspect list. Hey, doesn't that mean the culprit themselves wrote the dying message? That's right. There's no law saying that dying messages are all true. Yeah, they can show up in many ways. For example, the killer manipulates a dying message to lead an advantage in the trial. Yeah, maid X as it is, meaning the only one who would benefit from writing that is not a maid who would be the maid herself. Tyra. Damn. They really twisted that back around on her. Whether the interpretation of the dying message is this or that, there is no way to avoid the word maid. Akane, you really are? Is Tyra really the culprit? Can we conclude the case like this? But what is this feeling? Is it my heart screaming? I feel like all of this. It feels so contradictory. Is it really okay to end up with Tyra being the culprit? Can I vote now? It'll be painful to do anymore. It'll just be... I just want to end this quickly. Wait. Okay, maybe it's not her. Maybe there's still more to discuss here. Kurikawa. Obviously, it's true that Tyra was suspicious. Clearly the way she acted seems questionable. However, there's a problem yet to be solved. What? An unsolved problem? I don't know exactly what she's referring to. As Kurikawa said, it's too soon to end like this. There must be a cause for this unpleasant feeling. Yeah, a secret that hasn't been solved yet. Okay, we're just going into it. Let's see what the truth bullets are. Broken flashlight. Okay, both of the flashlights, honestly. Hot nose injury, piece of bloody cloth. All of those we haven't discussed yet. An unsolved problem. I do not know. Yeah. Well, what's the point? The dying message is also over. What else is there? The secret of the window is over. Tool procurement problem's been solved also. Wait a minute, is there anything left remaining, as Kurikawa says? Only for murder, you're thinking. Don't you think about cases other than murder? Maybe the bloody cloth? Because, like, that wasn't involved in the murder, but it was still involved? Although it could be the flashlight. I don't know what the hell the flashlights are for. What does he say here? They have a clue. Okay. I've been confused about the dying message in the crime situation. Been rushing to see the real important fact that we might have missed. Okay, so it's broken flashlight, third flashlight. I mean, the third flashlight and hot nose injury kind of go together, so it might not be those. The broken flashlight and the piece of bloody cloth. I think I'm going to say the piece of bloody cloth because we haven't talked about that because there's blood on it and it's like burned. I guess because it was close to the wall, which is why it would be burned. So I don't know. Let's try this. No, darn. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Okay. Did I not lose a heart for that? Oh, of course I do. Okay. Well, broken flashlight. Third flashlight. Was it the third flashlight, maybe? Because the third flashlight was the burned one, which is weird. It's like, how would that get out into the hall? Like, they would have had to have been in the fire at some point to grab it. So maybe it is this. I don't know. Is that right? No? Bro, okay. Her words have a clue hidden in them. Like, she's just saying, like, there's a problem we have to think about. And that's something that's not related to the crime. Okay, maybe it's hot nose injury, and that's gonna be the lead to the blood. Or if I die here when I had like a 75% chance of getting it just from guessing, and it's like the freaking other flashlights. All right, I think it might be the injury. Oh, we've talked about the injury though. I'm going for it. Okay, we got it. Okay, I almost backed out at the last second. It's like we talked about her injury, but we didn't talk about the flashlights. Yeah, what was the point of this? Yeah, right. That's it. Did you find something, Maeda? Guys, I think it's still a bit early to call Tyra the culprit. What? What do you mean? You're the one who said the dying message had the word maid in it. About that. I still can't conclude for sure. Thanks to Kurokawa, I can think of something actually. Right after the incident, do you guys all remember Hatano's injury? Of course, now the trial is coming to an end and Hatano's condition is worsening. Um, so we get that, yeah? Why was Hatano injured? Everyone think about it. Why did she get hurt? You saw it. She was hurt by the wire trap in the leg. Kinji was standing closest to where the wire trap was when we discovered the body. That's something I thought about earlier. I don't know how, if that means anything. But he was standing there, so he could have installed it. Yeah, okay, maybe it is Kinji. Think about it. Who installed the wire trap? When does this come into place? I mean, the killer must have installed it. That's it. In other words, your opinion is that the suspected killer, meaning Tyra, installed the wire trap, right? Now wait a second, I never installed anything like that. Why would I aim for Ayame-chan? Well, they weren't aiming for anybody. That doesn't really mean you can, though. Wait a minute, Tyra installed the wire trap? The wire trap is there, but when was it installed? Yeah, we don't know. I don't know exactly what's on the wire, but I can guess because I was there when Hatano was injured. Hatano was trying to grab something at the time, so it was after the fire, obviously. The wire was installed along the way to serve as the bait for it. Like, how would they have set this up in the investigation? When, like, everyone was investigating the power room or the switchium. Like, it seems, like, incredibly risky to be, like, putting a burned flashlight and setting up a wire with nobody noticing. The wire must have been installed as soon as the object was placed, and that object wasn't there, at least until the investigation started. It was not before, it was after the investigation began. When the wire was installed, it was probably immediately after starting the investigation. I believe so. Is there a good reason for that opinion? I don't know, maybe I'm back on Kinji now. I've just been oscillating back and forth between Kinji, Ayame, and Akane in my mind. And now I don't think it's Akane, so I don't know, Kinji's looking a little suspect. The wire isn't visible, so the exact installation time of the wire itself is unknown, but by other elements it can be inferred. Actually, Hatano wasn't just hurt. When she was injured, I know I was right next to them, but Hatano was injured by the wire while approaching to find and investigate some kind of object she got caught in the trap. Hatano, do you remember? Perhaps you're referring to the burned flashlight? Yeah, there's no such thing in the corner when I found the body with everyone in the power room, but it was there after the investigation started. In other words, the killer used the flashlight as bait to induce someone to get caught in the wire trap. If so, they set the flashlight and installed the wire at the same time, immediately after the investigation began, as the approximate time to install it. Yeah, it's right after the start of the investigation, right? The wire was installed shortly after the investigation began? Yamaguchi? It's strange. This is weird. Weird. Is it not weird? Wow, the sudden yelling. Everyone open your ears and listen. If Tyra's the culprit, it means Tyra installed the wire right after the investigation started, yes? But that's impossible. Why, you ask? It's because Tyra was with me! You were with Tyra, Shirley? Seriously? Then there was a relationship? Can you stop that? Don't put a joke at a time like this. Huh? Does that mean... Yeah, it's weird, because, like, I don't know why the killer would have set that up in the first place. And it's possible someone else did it. But they had to have been... whoever set up the wire had to have been in the fire at some point to get the flashlight. Or I guess been in the room before the investigation to get the burned flashlight. Yeah, I don't know. I know this exactly because Tyra was in the same place I was and we didn't do anything. Well, how can you say that you didn't do anything so proudly? Yeah, it's true. He didn't really do much in the investigation this time. He just kind of stood around. No, what I mean is, I was going to do some investigation, but I seldom made progress, so haha. Anyway, that's not what's important. It's Tyra's story. I swear to you, Tyra's been stuck in one spot since everyone gathered to the power room until the trial announcement came out. What, is that for real? Apart from anything else, there was only one spot that was inefficient. There's only one spot that was inefficient, even if you did a little investigation. I want to hear why. Why didn't you mention this, Tyra? No, it was shocking that Kizuna-chan died. Did any of us do that? Even so, everyone participated in the investigation, but that is not a reason. Well, I feel like the wire could have been set up in advance, because no one would have seen it, because it was really thin, and they said you couldn't see it. All they had to do was put the flashlight there once the investigation started, which wouldn't have taken much time. They just literally had to drop it there when no one's looking. Doesn't really matter. What's important now is Tyra didn't do anything at the time of the investigation, meaning she couldn't install the wire, right? Nah, not necessarily. Yeah, that's why I said it's weird. I don't know. I feel like the person who set up the wire doesn't necessarily have to be the killer. It could be separate. Like Saruki even said, it feels out of place. And then I don't know. Yeah, like the wire itself didn't necessarily have to be set up during the investigation. It could have been set up earlier. Then Tyra's not the killer? I mean, I've been trying to say that from the very beginning. But what? Why? What's called a maid? Are we wrong in the interpretation? It's not just that. Tyra lied. She's still suspect no matter how we continue. But when that happens, you can't explain the wire trap. Well, what's going on? I think my head will be weird if it gets twisted anymore. Can't we stop this already? If you want to die, do it. I won't stop you. It's definitely weird. Apart from being simply contradictory, logically it's playing itself separately, as if several incidents seem to be a gathering event. Why? What's missing? It's as if the contradictions don't stop to conclude that Tyra's the culprit, but there doesn't seem to be any different direction in the case. What's the truth of the case? If Tyra isn't the culprit, what have we been doing so far? You mean it was all for nothing? But if that's the case then, who is the culprit? Who do we vote for? I can't keep going. We keep hitting dead ends. Even in the midst of this, Hot-Nosed leg injury must be getting worse. There's still a lot. We still haven't mentioned the blood by the door, or the bloody cloth there, and that was burned. There's still more evidence to talk about. Well, I'll say this. Other than Tyra, is there not another suspicious person? Who's that? Kurakawa. You know it's not a serious accusation when this music starts playing. Why Kurakawa? Well, I don't understand it because of the dying message in the wire installation, but Kurakawa suddenly disappeared during the investigation. Isn't she suspicious to anyone? Looking at it, the broadcast announcing the start of the class trial rang, but we gathered quite late and Monokuma brought her. Didn't Kinjo mention this? He said that he had his main suspects in mind. If Tyra, who's been attracting attention as a high-level suspect, is not the culprit, will the other suspect, Kurakawa, who's the next suspicious person, naturally be her? Wait a second, is it true? It is true that Kurakawa was late, but what disappeared during the investigation was investigated by Kurakawa's own way. It was Kurakawa's discovery that the kitchen knife has actually disappeared from the kitchen. But even if they were investigating, still, why arrive late? I was curious from the start of the trial. I want to know the reason for being late, even if you're not the culprit. Yeah, she said she'd tell us after. Kurakawa, you're not a killer, right? No. But please answer us, don't be uneasy. I'm not the culprit. The reason for being late, I can't tell you now. After the trial, I'll tell you why. Yeah, probably because she doesn't want the mastermind, Monokuma, to hear. If it was for a good reason, isn't there no reason to hide it? Why can't you tell us? The more you hide it, the more suspicious it gets. I'm sorry, but trust me, I'm not the killer. She's like Kyoko, but if Kyoko, spoke up, 10% of the time, or 10% of how often she would normally speak up in the trials. Regardless of the reason, isn't it a little too much to say that Kurakawa was the culprit? She doesn't seem to have anything to do with the dying message. It would have been possible for her to install the wire, however. No, but there's no other way. This is impossible. She's impossible. It's all the possibilities again. Who's the killer then? Even if it's a ghost, it's not impossible. Huh, you really are fools without answers. Shouldn't you be aware of this? Huh? What do you mean? What? That's the truth of the case. I told you, didn't I? I said that I wouldn't help you people, but once it's a trial with my life at stake, if there's no answer, I'll solve it. So in other words, you are idiots with no answer to the extent that I have to come out like this. Damn it, Makaru is destroying us! Makaru's attitude's sarcastic, but I think she knows something. Makaru may give us a clue about the situation that we can't overcome alone. When you look at the goals for your reasoning, I can see how hard your brains are. To put it simply, you are fools who try to solve the same solution without thinking of any other method when no other problem is solved. Thank you for your kind summary description, but you, what do you know yourself? If the same method doesn't work, you should know how to challenge it using a new method. Understand, child? But what do you mean by new method? It means throwing away stereotypes. Oh my, when it's so quiet you finally open your mouth, Psycho Police. Is it not a problem if the best young police officer in Japan gets slower answers than a professor? It doesn't matter, but I guess it's all a competition for you. Let's just say it's not. There's nothing to be gained from the charade. There's something sparkling between you two. But what's that mean? Stereotypes to throw it away? Did you both find out something? I'll apologize first. When the trial happened, I was about to be overthrown by the killer because of the misinterpretation of the case. But I deserved it. I was guessing to some extent, but I didn't think the case would be so twisted. It was twisted? It's natural to say you guys made it public. The case is simple. There's a criminal, and that criminal killed the victim. If you tried to solve it, there will be contradictions. Then, wait a minute. So then, this isn't a murder case? No, it is a murder. It's clearly malevolent. But, do you recall what I mentioned earlier? An ordinary murder case would be difficult to solve if you think of it as if you try to solve it using a simple step-by-step scenario. While investigating before the trial, I guessed the outline frame, but at that point, I couldn't confirm this either. However, as the trial progressed, Tyra's reactions and the dying message being solved, a truth was reached. To be precise, the riddle that has been solved so far was one that derived from a clue, but... yeah, was it like the killer left that message? Well, what's the truth about it? To put it simply, this crime is not a case where there's only one culprit and one victim being mentioned. What? Not one culprit, not one victim? So you mean there was an accomplice? But didn't Monokuma say that accomplices had no advantage? Now, it's a bit ambiguous to call it an accomplice, but what's certain is that a third party other than the criminal was clearly involved. Is that with the wire, then? Third party? Who was it? You, Akane. Okay, so... this is what I said earlier. I said, like, in the investigation, that it's clear... I think she knows something. Like, why would she say she was in the kitchen when the murder weapon was a kitchen knife, if she actually was the killer? And if she was in the kitchen, she should have seen someone take the knife, presumably. Eh? Tyra was the third party? Is that different from a culprit or accomplice? For starters, I like to see it like that. As you guys said, if you're a criminal, you have to install a wire trap, but Tyra herself couldn't afford to do it because of Yamaguchi. He also saw Tyra stand still during that time. Then Akane no longer needs to be questioned, right? No, wait a minute. I'm really sorry, but I still don't get it. If Tyra isn't the culprit, I don't know what the dying message points to the maid, and she even lied to us. That's why I told you, Tyra is a third party in this case. What? It's not a culprit, it's different from an accomplice, but it's obviously a third party who is heavily involved in the case. Maybe she's not even aware of it. The woman's personality is showing her heart on her face. It's proof that the maid lied and wrote the dying message, lying to everyone here. Ah, so she tried to implicate herself. Seems by your facial expressions you don't understand it. Okay, before discussing the real criminal, let's begin with a question about it. Okay, here we go. So, am I right then? Is it a Yame and Akane's covering for her? Because I think they were just implying that she wrote the message. Secret note, lighter, wire trap, third flashlight. Okay, honestly, yeah, it could be any of those. I have to see what they're saying. Tyra isn't just a suspect, she's a third party. Yeah, that's true. Oh, I only have one heart left? Oh my gosh, okay. A lot of pressure. I'm not sure what that means. It's so nice that the reticle's not shaking all the time. Like, getting Kyoko's skill was so worth it. According to your reasoning, at first glance, Tyra Akane looks like the culprit. But for her to put the wire trap is not possible. There's a contradiction. That's true. In fact, it's okay to say that your reasoning in return is the correct answer. Oh, a rookie mistake. Someone clean up this mess. So it's gonna be the last one. I think we have to contradict. In the first place, being a third party doesn't mean that there's a third person besides a criminal. Doesn't that mean there's a third person? 3 or more people were involved in the crime. Is there any evidence to prove this? The secret note, the lighter, the wire trap. Okay, Kinjo said Tyra wasn't the culprit, but a third party. Kinjo wouldn't say that for no reason. Yeah, she was suspicious. Let's think about it. If she was involved, it means that 3 people were involved in the case, including the killer and the victim. What clue did he notice that 3 people were involved? Potentially the note? So the third... oh, the third flashlight. Yeah, probably. Yeah, why would there be a third flashlight? Because, yeah, the killer could have had our note. The lighter, that doesn't say anything. And the wire trap, I mean, you could say that, like, she couldn't have set that up. But I think it's going to be the third flashlight. I mean, they're saying third party. And that's the whole thing. I was like, whose flashlight is that? If the 2 flashlights that were broken were Kizuna and the culprits inside, then Let's go. Okay, we didn't die. That's good. I was really worried about having to go back. Yeah, whose flashlight is that? Okay, so it's Akane's. Which means she was in there during the fire? I guess that would make sense because it was burned and her alibi with the kitchen was clearly fake. No, Yuhara, wait. There is evidence of 3 people involved in the crime. What would that be? A flashlight, of course. There was one more flashlight. What do you mean there was one more? Hotno, that flashlight you were trying to pick up. Oh, that's why Hotno injured her leg on the wire. That flashlight, right? But what does it mean when you say there was one more? I think there were some people who haven't seen it, so let me tell you. In the Switchium, there were 2 broken flashlights. By the way, Maeda, other than those 2, the 3rd flashlight. On the day the 2nd floor was open, everyone saw it while investigating, right? It's a dark place where the switch doesn't light up. Without a flashlight, nothing is visible. And the fact that Tamori died, there would have been something to do with the Switchium, and in that case, she must have brought a flashlight. So one of the 3 flashlights would have had to have been the one Tamori brought. And if you don't see anything, murder is not possible, meaning the culprit also killed her inside the Switchium. And the culprit also took a flashlight, so the 2nd flashlight was brought by the killer. Oh, okay, wait, hang on. Wait, so Akane was one of the 3 people. Yeah, wait. The body discovery announcement, 3 people, doesn't include the culprit. Akane discovered the body herself. And then that means of the 3 people who discovered the body, one of them was the killer, maybe? I don't know, maybe that's wrong. Because I don't know when she would have... how she would have discovered the body before the fire, unless she set the fire? But then that would make her an accomplice, right? I mean, she also wrote the message, so she would have had to have been in there at some point to get the burned flashlight and to write the message. So she must have discovered the body. So is it just a Yame then? I don't know. Hey, wait a minute. Who's the owner of the 3rd flashlight? That's right, Maya had explained it very well. The Switchium is not a known place. I guess it's a dark place. There's nothing visible, so naturally you'd expect to carry a flashlight in order to go in there. Even if I went, I would need my flashlight back once I'm done with my business. There's no reason to leave it behind. Wasn't this the aftermath of a struggle between the criminal and Tamori? One moment. Isn't that just by reasoning alone? Unless there's a 0% chance that someone forgot it and left it in the past, it wouldn't be clear. No, Yuhara, there's evidence that all 3 flashlights are involved in the incident. As Kinjo said, 2 of the flashlights were broken, and the other one, the last one, it was burnt. Correct, it's a flashlight before it got caught in the fire. That's the flashlight that was on the scene. Now you realize, is there a fool who still doesn't understand? According to your inference, the fact that the case involved 3 people was the adequate basis of this case. I had no idea. You must not have known. Probably the killer tried to use Tyra. Really? What does that mean? We've come this far, so I wonder if it's okay to reveal it. I called Tyra a 3rd party, but this doesn't mean that you simply witnessed or helped the killer. What is it then? How Tyra was involved in this incident. By the time, everyone might have noticed. Not the culprit, but the executioner. Is it appropriate to call them like this? What? Yeah, I don't know what he's... the executioner. So wait, it was someone else's plan, but she actually killed her? So it is her? Oh, what's an executioner? No way that fits Tyra stabbing Tamori. I guess she didn't even do it? That's right. There's a criminal who killed her breath with a critical hit, but it was probably Tyra who made Tamori moribund. Okay, so who stabbed the kitchen knife through the... oh, okay. So, yeah, she put the knife through the throat after she was already dead? What? Well, that's a lie. Tyra did... Kinjo, wait a minute. Hey, don't you know what I'm talking about? Tyra Akane, you're also a criminal who committed an attempted murder, you bloody bitch. Jeez. So wait, she tried to kill after... but she was already dead? What? Now, wait a second. What is this so suddenly? Hey, Tyra's the executioner? What's wrong, Kobishikawa? You said you couldn't admit that Tyra wasn't the culprit. No, rather than being able to admit it, but why did Tyra... yeah, I don't know what it means that there's another criminal who inflicted a critical hit, even though she was the executioner in the first place, and I can't believe that Akane did this. If you dishonor Akane without a compelling reason, I cannot forgive you. That's right, Tyra would never do something like that. It's starting again. Didn't people say that they can't know just by looking at them? All of you think that Tyra Akane is not the one to do that. After all, you just don't know enough about her. But she... why don't you tell me why would Tyra stab Tamori to the verge of death? How did that happen? But you've already let that go, didn't you? We let her go? You don't mean... Yes, the evidence that Taira Akane personally injured Tamori Kazuna is exactly what you suspect. A dying message pointing to the maid, Taira Akane's suspicious lie. But why wasn't she the culprit of the direct murder? That was also solved by you. Simple, isn't it? That woman didn't have the time to install the wire. What everyone looks like you can't understand. Sorry, but besides this, there is evidence that Taira Akane committed a murder attempt. Well, is there any other evidence? No, Kinjo's right. There is evidence that only I can think of. Maeda, even you? Why? I'd love to think that, but as Kinjo says, it's all true. I knew it too. If you look at the scene of the incident, there were traces of others who couldn't exist. That trace was probably left by Taira. The blood by the door? According to the images in my memory, there's one definitive clue. Oh my god, okay, spot selection. Look for the places that contain the answer. A file or picture that will fit the current topic. Point it, okay. Z or enter, yeah, I don't know. I'll just press a bunch of buttons until it works. You lose speech power and start again. Okay, something that points to Tyra's involvement. I mean, I would think it's the blood here, or maybe it's the blood here. I don't actually know. I'm gonna say here. Okay, let's go. Clutch. Blood marks entrance. Yes, okay, remember what we discussed earlier about why the killer started the fire? The fire was used to heat the glass window and make it break remotely, and make us think that the killer was inside the switchium and smashed the glass to escape, right? Yeah, and in fact, we almost got caught in that trap and confused our reasoning. Now we were talking about why Tyra was involved in the case. Think carefully. If the killer's purpose was to make us think they broke the glass, why is there a blood spot at the entrance? Because it wasn't the killer's blood stain at the entrance. Is that so? A blood stain like walking out of the switchium. That's evidence from a third party that's different from the criminal's intentions. Was that from a struggle? Maybe it's just Tamori's blood. If Tamori went out of the switchium while bleeding, the power room outside should have been filled with blood spots, don't you think so? Yeah, exactly. Or if Tamori went out of the switchium while bleeding. Yeah, okay, so it must have been a culprit. Does that mean the blood spot was after coming out of the switchium because it was dark then? There were 2 broken flashlights inside the switchium. If it were broken during a struggle... They were both broken pretty cleanly, but I guess that was just the visual to show us that they were broken. You wouldn't know that blood would splatter in the dark after you stabbed Tamori. Well, then the blood traces come from Akane? Wait a minute, after the killer attacked Tamori, they could have set off the fire after walking out toward the entrance without knowing that there was blood on it, right? In this way, there's no room for Taira to intervene. Nori, I'm sorry, but that's also impossible. The one who killed Tamori by killing her definitively probably didn't splash a drop of blood on her body. Oh, so they did move her body in here, and her body was in here before the fire, which is... Okay, but then it didn't get on the fire because the fire was on the walls. And then Akane came in the dark and got blood on her and tried to stab her through the neck? Okay, yeah, because the real killer used that tool to... Okay, this is the... Finally, we got the cloth there. Yeah, bloody piece of cloth. There we go. Okay. Actually, there was a piece of cloth covered in blood in the corner of the switchium. Oh, bloody. This is... Right, anyone planning a murder must be concerned about the bleeding. Probably they used it on Tamori without a drop of blood on their own body. If the real culprit uses it and murders Tamori, there's no reason for a blood smear on the entrance. What? Then she really... Are you saying Akane stabbed Tamori? Damn. I did not see that coming, that's for sure. I can't believe it. Why did Taira do that? Taira, no matter what you did in the end, there is a real criminal who directly killed Tamori other than you. You're not treated as a real criminal in this trial. If you admit to the crime, you won't be executed. So tell me with your own mouth, did you really do it, and why? I'm sorry. Sorry? Are you sorry? That is really true? You guys are right, I'm the one. I stabbed Kizuna-chan. That's crazy. What? I'm not particularly sympathetic, but I'm curious. Why did you do that? Kizuna-chan. No, Tamori Kizuna. Because she was a human being who had no choice but to die. Did you get her secret or something? What are you talking about? It was Tyra herself who defended Tamori the most, didn't you? I'm sorry. It's just in case I was found out. I just made an excuse and got scared. That must have been it. Actually, you seem to believe that you were the real culprit. But I... I want you to believe in this. I never decided to kill and stop Kizuna-chan. What does that mean? You didn't stab with murder intention, but after that remark, you seemed to despise Tamori. So did she get Tamori's secret then? Well, I'll tell you what happened. Let me give you an explanation. I'm not sure about Makaru and Yuhara know this, but the day after the motives came out, we all went to persuade Kizuna-chan. Actually, Kizuna-chan was also in loneliness, and she tried to convince herself because she knew it deep down. I finally opened my heart to Kizuna-chan, and we hugged, and I finally thought we'd become friends. But that evening, Kizuna-chan had something to talk about, so she called me to the Switchium. I took a flashlight and went there. Did she try to kill Akane? Kizuna-chan, are you here? Right here, Tyra. Kizuna-chan, I know you wanted to talk about something, but why in such a dark place? Yeah, no one's coming here, right? Oh, no, I don't think so. So what did you want to talk about? Yeah, that's right. I'm too scared now. What? Scared? Why? You know the motives given by Monokuma, remember? Our secrets are written in there. It seems like you all threw it away, but I got no clue whose I stumbled upon in the trash. Someone's secret. Do you want to see? First, look at the contents. What? What is this? Oh my goodness, that is crazy. Okay, so that explains why that's there. She got ours. Oh no, she found ours in the trash. Yuki Maeda may actually know the identity of the mastermind. Huh. I mean, how is that a secret if it's not a definitive? Like he may actually know, but he may not know. Like what does that mean? Did we know before the killing game started and before our memories got wiped? Huh. That's really interesting. What? Oh, it gets a new theme here. Maeda, is that true? Oh, new sprite? Okay. No, I'm just a normal student. You're not lying, right? You're not actually playing with us what you know about him, do you? Wow, this is going to be really interesting to see how this progresses going forward. So stop it. Now's not the time to reproach each other. Yeah, the message is surprising, but it's urgent we hear Tyra's testimony. Tyra, resume at once. Okay. I can't trust Yukun as long as I see that. It's not just that. Knowing the mastermind, they might play with us and try to kill us later. Oh, is she gonna try to kill us? No, Maeda wouldn't do that. False. You don't know people just by looking at them. Mitsuhiro-kun did the same thing. Remember? Then what do you want to do? Even if you tell the others? No, that's not the case. Then we can kill him with our own hands. What? The reason I called you is actually this. Aren't you close to Yukun? Wouldn't you be able to take him out? That's crazy. She's putting out a hit on us. You know what you're talking about? Listen, I have a good idea. If you can only help me, otherwise how can I kill Yukun without being noticed by someone? First of all, I brought the preparation. Well, the issue is if you kill someone regardless, you're also gonna kill everybody else if you get away with it. So unless you're also ready to die with us, with Yuki, then like you can't plot to kill him without killing everybody else. First of all, I brought all the preparations, the fuse, the lighter, and finally is a knife. Once you pick up Yukun and call him somewhere, I'll stab him with the knife. So she brought the knife. Oh, okay. Wow, that's crazy. I'm not talking about that. I asked you if you were serious. If you kill, you'll die in a trial. Yeah, good point. That's when the killer is stupidly caught. Did you forget that that's the only way to get out from here is to murder someone? So first, help me. If my murder's successful, I'll help you. What do you think? Let's get out together. Wow, that is crazy. Maybe I should have seen that coming. But yeah, I did not pin her to do that. I thought she was too cowardly, honestly, to kill someone. Are you crazy? Why do I want to murder? Literally, it's like a Celeste Tafumi situation where it's like if you create 2 murders, then there's 2 black-ins and potentially 2 people to get out. What? You don't want to get out of here? I want to get out, but doing that at the expense of another's life? That's it then. I'm the only one who wants to go outside more than anyone else here. I'm not a human being who will rot in this place. Why should I? A bright future awaits me once I get out of this place. Actually, I got everything ready after those 2 days from the previous class trial. I also brought these tools early today. I'm gonna kill this traitor. Wouldn't it be less guilty to kill a bad guy, right? You better think and join me here. What are you saying? Being prepared for a murder since the second day? Then you didn't open up to us. Huh? Oh my god, this stupid bitch. Of course I was acting. What? That's great. Did she know? I was gonna say, she's like, oh, did you guys notice me while I was crying? It's like, you were crying in the middle of the hallway. Like, obviously someone was gonna see you. Wow, that's crazy. No, she got me. I fell for that. Of course I was acting. Do you think I'm gonna go and fall for that crappy event? I can't. Alright, so you just do whatever I tell you. You know that you were lucky that I chose you. Please bring Yuki-kun here by tomorrow morning. No, I hate it. Why should I help murder? And I can't believe Maeda-kun's such an evil person. That's obviously Monokuma's lie. Anyway, I'm not going to help you. And Kizuna-chan, please wake up and don't do this. If you are with us, I'm sure we can find a way. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, the issue, though, is that does Kizuna try to kill Akane now? Because even if she goes through with it and did kill us, then Akane would know her plan, and then she would get executed in the trial, so... What? Well, I didn't expect you to cooperate from the start with the murder. Because you didn't, I have to change the target as planned. Uh-oh. What are you... Self-defense. Oh, damn. That's a crazy face. On both of them, honestly. Hey, Kizuna-chan. You dodged it. Why are you doing this, Kizuna-chan? Why are you asking? I'm trying to kill you. That's crazy. We don't usually get like a back and forth conversation between the killer and the victim. That's actually really funny. Kizuna-chan. You already knew I was going to kill you. I was going to kill her, remember? I can't keep you alive. It's a pity that you can't kill Yuki Maeda, but it doesn't matter if you can't get out of here. Someone save me! Wow. Is that true? Tamori tried to kill Akane first? Even so, before the motives came out, she just made up her mind to kill someone, and yeah, before the motives, that's crazy. And all the appearances she showed us were an act? Yeah, Tamori Kizuna was that type of person. So, you felt in danger of your own life and attacked Tamori in self-defense? Oh, no, that's not right. Listen, I really didn't intend to stab Tamori in self-defense, or any of the sort. Then why did you... Tamori ran to kill you. What happened after that? I noticed that Kizuna-chan was serious, and I was too scared. I tried to run for it. Then I was pushed down by Kizuna and fell over. And I tried to resist somehow, and the flashlights we were holding broke each other. Or they broke. That was when the 2 broken flashlights were found in the switch room. I couldn't see anything because the flashlight was broken, and I was right next to Kizuna-chan with the knife. I was really scared and tried to resist with my whole body. Honestly, I think it was pure luck that I didn't get hit by the knife. Ultimate lucky student? Or I guess that's us. By the way, suddenly Kizuna-chan at one point became really quiet, and that's when I took my chance to get out of the switch room. You got out? Okay, you stabbed Tamori Kizuna while resisting without knowing it. When I looked at my hands in a bright place, I saw a lot of blood. There was a lot of red on my clothes. I got in a panic and didn't look behind me. Just got out of the power room and ran to the bathroom to wipe off the blood. So that's what happened. I was wiping it with water until the smell of blood was washed away, but then the announcement came out. I thought Kizuna-chan was the one whom I stabbed. She was the one who was found. So my vision became white. After that, I went to the power room. There was a fire for some reason, and the switch room was all messed up. Other than yourself, there was someone else who touched the scene of the crime. Did you think it was you who killed her? That's not it. What happened was... That's how the events are connected. This is all I know about the case. I never meant to stab Kizuna-chan with evil intentions. Whatever the reason, good or bad. Once you look at the results, they are Taira Akane stabbed Tamori Kizuna. This is a fact. You cannot change its meaning for whatever reason you might say. But you said I wasn't the culprit. Yes, you just stabbed her, like I said. There's another killer who caused the fire and the final blow. If the trial... Oh, okay, so Akane stabbed her in the side, I guess, and then the culprit stabbed her in the neck, I guess. Or in the throat. If the trial settles safely, it'll be the real criminal, not you, who's going to be executed. So, your sins will be laid aside after the trial is over. Don't think you'll just go over it. Now, wait a second, it was still an accident, wasn't it? Because if Tamori hadn't been stabbed, then Taira would have died. That's right. Don't be too forceful with them. Taira herself was more distressed than anyone else. I'm sorry. Hey, second to the fact that that it was a crime of... or second to the fact that it was a crime or forced assault, the trial isn't over yet, right? Now that we know the case, we need to find the true culprit. Let's not get excited just yet, children. That's crazy. Wow, I didn't see that coming at all. I guess the third flashlight was a hint that there's someone else involved other than the actual culprit, but yeah, I did not see any of that coming. Fine, let's talk about this later, because the trial is the most important thing now. Wow, talk about interesting dynamics going forward. That's going to be crazy. Akane, don't blame yourself too much. Because in the end, you survived. For the most part, I think it's because the best outcome that Akane lived. Isn't it important to be alive? Yame-chan. Thank you. Now then, let's organize the case based on Tyra's words. Tamori planned tried to plan a killing a few days ago, and she called Tyra to the Switchium to plan her crime with them, and plan her crime with her, and tried to kill Tyra in the process. But her plan failed and she died. That is the whole story of the case. Hey, you stay still. There's a bit of mental ferocity in there. Now then, let's do a little summary. First, the number of people involved in this case is 3. One is the victim, Kizuna Tamori. The next person is the criminal, who's not yet been identified. And the last one is the third party, Tyra Akane. Tamori, who wanted to leave here as soon as possible, planned a murder, before even the motives came out. Her rebellion was just an excuse for Tamori, and for the first time, she attempted to make Tyra join forces in this crime. If Tamori worked with someone, it would have been easy for her to escape, but Tyra refuted, as expected, and she tried to get rid of Tyra, the one who heard her plan and leave no traces behind. However, the attack missed, and in return there was an accident where the knife ended up stabbing Tamori while tangled in the dark. Tyra was surprised that she stabbed her, and then she ran to the bathroom. But when she heard the announcement that the body was found, she went back to the power room, and there were things like the fire that she hadn't even done, and so Akane was confused at that time. So then, in the end, the killer made use of Tyra's talent and put the blame on her in order to make us vote for her. Yeah, there were 3 people involved in the case, so as complicated as it is. By the way, no matter what happened so far, it would mean that she's not the culprit of the case, right? But then, who's the real culprit? Yeah, now I don't even know. Like, now I'm starting to doubt if it's a Yame, maybe it's Kinji, but... I mean, you think it had to be someone in the area, because they had to get in there pretty soon after Akane left. Maybe they saw her leave covered in blood, and then went in there, and just sort of took advantage of an injured Kizuna, and just finished her off, and then thought of the fire thing on the fly. The true culprit's identity. Ah! Around me, what is it? Did you figure something out? Nope, it's just amazing that Kurokawa is so very active in participating in the conversation. Are you serious? I have to say, there are already hints about the real culprit. What? Who is it? Really? Who is it? In general, there's no one who does not have a noticeable alibi other than Tyra. In other words, it's possible for anyone to have committed the crime. However, there's only one of us who has led all the situations to their advantage. Yes, and very precisely, may I add. Is there someone like that? Who on earth? Surely it's not Tyra. No, it's not. There's someone who's taken advantage of the circumstances of the case with too ridiculous timing. That could be simply a coincidence at first glance. Think about it. The fire was obviously not caused by Tyra, then obviously the real culprit set the fire. But don't you think there's something amiss? When you leave a fire, the corpse would need to be burned. Yeah, and you don't know when it could be found. Okay, yeah, I think it's a Yame then. But Hotno actually found it. Yes, Hotno found it. Well, if that's the case, the wire matters too. Even if you install a wire as trap for bait for a burned flashlight in the corner, there's a possibility that no one will find it and it could end up just there, right? But it didn't because, huh? Isn't something a little weird? What does the sighting between the fire and the wire have in common? And this is what I had said too. I didn't feel good about it, but I did pick up on that. If you think about it, you will see the answer. The person who led all the situations to their own advantage. The person who led the case so that they could solve it in their own accord. The only one person in doubt. They're strong enough to instigate most of the incident. The first time they noticed the fire and the wire trap. No, why? I have to stop thinking about that. The main thing is that they did this job. Okay. Did she do it, like, to save Akane or something? Like, did she know Akane was Kizuna about to bleed out and Akane would be the killer and she didn't want that, so she killed... I don't know. So she killed to save Akane so that she'd be the killer instead? If you don't find out the truth, then we will all die. Alright, well, I was a little early when I was selecting last time. Premature in who my culprit choice was. But, I I might have been right in the end.
犯人は
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm glad that there was more to this trial because it was kind of weird with the first trial how the intermission was so close to the end and like there wasn't really much suspense after that point. Like we had already figured out it was Mitch, and there wasn't anything after that. So I'm glad they changed it up this time. As Kincho says, there's only one person who can move the situation to their advantage. And that person is Hotno, you. Wow, what? Now what do you... Maeda, did you get tired? The culprit was the one who hurt Hotno's leg. But what if Hotno was the culprit? She was aiming her own leg. Nonsense. It would be way more reliable to say that I'm the one crazy. That is quite true. But please don't mess with me, Maeda-kun. No matter what, Ayame-chan being the culprit is... That's right, Kinjo, don't just stand there, say something. Maeda seems to be losing it now. No, that incompetent made a very precise reasoning, don't you agree? The culprit is Ayame Hotno. She must be. Staying silent. I'm not exactly denying it, but I don't have a clear picture. Can you at least clarify why you believe so? It's because of a few reasons Hotno's the suspect. The truth of the culprit of this case is not strange to any of us. The reason is because Tyra pulled the ceremony of the incident, and the killer was only a light maneuver in the scene. All of our alibis were also in the dark, and there were contradictions no matter who you put as a killer. However, that's why Hotno's actions were. Hotno's behavior was even more unnatural. What are you talking about? The killer made an alibi trick by building a fire and finishing Tamori herself, in which Tyra couldn't. Until here, everyone understands, right? Then here, who was the first person to discover the fire? What do you think? That was Hotno. But there's no way to call someone a culprit with just that. You shut up, secondhand killer. It's not just that. And even though the corpse was found, the killer who installed the wire trap is if aiming at someone. And who was the person who discovered this first? That was also Hotno too. Let's think. At best, she made an alibi trick if someone else found it first. There'd be too many dangerous variables. Right, yeah, she made the alibi trick with the fire, but if someone else found it first, there'd be too many dangerous variables. But if you set a fire, you can create the best situation you want. Are you referring to the situation where the criminal himself is putting out the fire with other people? That's right, because the original purpose of the killer's fire was to break the glass and heat it to make someone think that a person escaped. If the killer was with... Yeah, exactly. If the killer was with other people in that situation, they would have their own alibi. Okay, well, it's a crappy trick, so I didn't even doubt it from the beginning. Honestly, I never really thought... I was really confused, so I'm not going to try to take too much credit. And a lot of it was just educated guesses, but yeah, one thing I was pretty sure about was that the culprit didn't leave through the window. That seemed too obvious, and plus, Kenji looked and he didn't see anybody going through there. And then from there, it's pretty obvious that they were trying to forge an alibi. In addition, Hotno would have had enough time to install the wire. Listening to Tyra's story, Tamori brought all the tools, so you can use them in the arms of the dead Tamori. Then, no, but Ayame-chan... Well, there must be something wrong with that. I mean, it could be a coincidence. Hotno's the culprit just like that? Why is the person who was picked up being silent, but the others are being nosy? Hey, why are you staying quiet? Are you exercising your right to remain silent? Or do you think this is a joke? Haha, it's just that it's so absurd that you've left me speechless. I'm still standing here and being treated like a criminal. Honestly, with how I've been doing her voice kind of like Peko, where it's like kind of like somber, but also kind of smug, even like Kyoko-esque as well. But this is the second trial. Peko was the killer in the second case, and her reaction is similar to Peko, and just sort of like dismissing the claims as just like ridiculous and just absurd and not even worth a response. Interesting parallels there. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I mean, this isn't funny. Ayame-chan, you can't be the culprit. Oh, anything to object to then? Of course, you don't seem to realize it yet. I'll tell you why I can't be the killer. Oh, non-stop. Alright, here we go. Medical result, the wire trap, the burned fuse line, the secret note. Maybe the medical results? We haven't used that yet. Why can't you be the culprit? This is a long one, wow. Okay, it looks like you guys are missing one thing in particular. Tamori's time of death. Do you remember it? Time of death. Was it not specified in the Monokuma file? Yeah, it was 8:30. Oh yeah, right, 9:30. Yeah, correct. 9:30 it said around that time, right? But isn't that weird? Yeah, around 9:30 p.m. I was putting out the fire with Kinjo and the others. Accurately, that's true. So what happened? Tamori might have told someone to meet at 9:30 p.m. and she was stabbed in surprise. Okay, well that's probably what I'm contradicting. At that time, she was still dead. I didn't see anyone. I can't be the culprit. So she's meeting with someone at 9:30 p.m. That's what we have to object to. The time of death was definitely 9:30. Then Hot now has an alibi. Something so unnatural about it. If Tamori really died at that time, the crime would be impossible for anyone. Even so, the Monokuma file doesn't tell lies. Then let's think of the arrangement. She reminds me of what's been said before. If I think about her words, the secret behind Tamori's unnatural death will be solved also. Huh. Okay, I can't say I am really sure what to do. I only have one heart, which sucks. So the medical results was that there was a lot of blood. I don't think we've used that yet. The secret note, that was just... What was the secret note? Like, the secret note was our note, right? Like the burn note? The wire trap? I don't think it's that. The burn fuse line. I feel like the medical results said she burned, or she bled more than expected, I think. Oh wait, no, I didn't mean to shoot that! Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Oh my god, I was trying to speed it up. Oh my god, that's ridiculous. Oh my god. No, I'm gonna die now. Oh my gosh, okay. Okay, we're back, we're back. Let's not accidentally shoot one of them this time. That was a long time I had to come back from, so I really hope I don't mess it up again. Honori's, I'm gonna try the medical results, I think, although, because they're talking about when she was killed. She was killed at 9:30, and her last statement is about how, like, maybe there's a note arranging to meet with someone there. I think the secret note is our note, right? Like, and the wire trap is, I don't think it'd be that one. The burn fuse line. It could be the burn fuse line. I'm gonna go with this because we haven't used this yet. It said that she bled out more than you would expect, I think. And just in general that it was weird. Oh wait, is this one, this one. Right? Maybe? Oh, let's go! Okay, I would have gotten it too if I didn't accidentally shoot Cockeroo's David. Oh, it's so annoying. Because I think in the actual games you press B to search, or the bottom button. I guess I was pressing A, but I think you usually use that button in the actual games to speed it up. And this time, yeah, because I usually play on the Switch, and the Switch, I think B and A are switched, so I'm used to holding down the bottom button to speed it up. I don't know, I could just be completely wrong. Anyway, we got it, we got it. Hot No, is that really so? What? Is this your opinion, Hot No? Because the time of death is 9:30. The culprit killed Tamori by stabbing her at 9:30 p.m. Of course, Tamori's death is a stabbed neck. Is it though? Because yeah, the way the knife was sort of placed in there definitely seems a little like, I don't know. I guess they could have placed it there. Although, yeah, I don't know exactly what that means. I guess her body was discovered at 10, so if she died at 9:30, could have killed her with something else, and then have stabbed her. Just put the knife in there after, but then. Okay, well, I'm confused. Anyway, let's see what they say. Tamori's death is a stabbed neck. As a reminder, it must have been instant death at the moment. But that's not the case. Huh? Even if you argue that Hot No's words are true, at first glance after putting some consideration in the circumstances, at that time the killer was not already inside the switch yet. Maya is right. You have no choice but to admit it. This is a problem you solved earlier, right? From the time her fire started to ignite, Tamori must have been stabbed by the knife. Yeah, otherwise the alibi trick of breaking a window remotely would be meaningless. But then what happened to Tamori's time of death? No matter how you think about it, Tamori's death at 9:30 p.m. makes no sense. Everyone listen carefully. From here on out, the reasoning behind this is a little mixed, meaning perhaps Tamori, before Hot No discovered the fire, or started the fire, I guess, or I guess pretended to have discovered the fire. Yeah. So perhaps Tamori, before Hot No discovered the fire, it may have already been around 9 o'clock with a knife on her neck. What? Super grotesque. That's far-fetched, Maeda. Are you really thinking about it? Are you able to prove that a human can live for 30 minutes with a throat pierced? I don't really believe it either, but I'm not saying this for no reason. There's evidence that Tamori survived that long. The first thing I came to think of was that because of Inori, so thanks a lot. Me? That was when Inori was investigating, wasn't it? Remember what she said to me after examining Tamori's body? What should I say? It's a terrible amount of bleeding. Humans die of excessive bleeding, when about 1/3 of the blood volume flows out, but this is not about the 1/3, as you can see. It's amazing that even this amount of blood came out. The wound on it, or the neck is definitely fatal, but it should have coagulated to some extent, and the amount of bleeding should have gradually decreased after the heart stopped beating. That means, are you saying something else produced the mass bleeding? Now, I can't confirm it with my own opinion. It is rare, but if your blood pressure is strong, the amount of bleeding increases. That much I know for sure. To put it simply, there are individual differences. Well, having a lot of bleeding in here means it took quite a while before death. Thanks to this, Tamori must have died in very terrible pain. Think about it. At around 9:30, Tamori had been stabbed with a knife on her neck. If she died when we found her, the blood would not have been spread out. Of course, when we discovered it, there was still a little bleeding, but most of this started to harden, and it is unnatural to say that such a deep liquid had been flowing after 9:30. That makes sense, but Maeda, did you forget? Tamori's wound is not just the neck. Could it have flowed out from the stomach wound? Of course it's possible, but there's another proof that she's been alive for a long time after being stabbed by the neck. Tamori died in a blow as soon as her throat was pierced. There was a sign that should never have been there. Because Tamori knew who the real killer was, who killed them other than Tyra. Such a marker was written by them. Another proof that Tamori was alive is... Oh, she added the modification to it? Oh. The reason is because of the dying message. Dying message? Didn't we end that story earlier, pointing to the maid word? Yes, but when I came back to it, I could see something that I didn't before. There's a big X after the word maid. That meaning is correct, but as we guessed before... Oh, so Hatno wrote the maid part, which is really messed up if she tried to frame Akane, and then Kizuna was the one who put the X beside it. Huh. That meaning is correct. As we guessed before, not the maid. Come to think of it, was it written by Tamori? I thought Tyra wrote it as a self-act. It was the reason that we found in the dying message. I mentioned this before, but after seeing the blood, I just went to the bathroom right away. I couldn't afford to think about that. Yeah, it's not Tyra. It's likely the former idea. Tamori wrote the word maid in her own blood to let us know. Oh, okay, so Tamori wrote it and the killer... So wait, maybe it's the reverse of what I just said. Because I guess, yeah... Oh, why is there an X to it? Well, I was thinking, like, could Tamori have seen who actually killed her? Because, like, Hatno would have been using a flashlight, but, like, Kizuna didn't have a flashlight. So if the flashlight was pointing away from Hatno, she might not have seen her and maybe thought that, like, Akane came back to finish the job. I don't know. It wasn't the criminal's own doing, but the victim herself adds an X and writes not the maid. Okay, that's what I thought initially, and then, yeah, okay, I see. She tried to correct the dying message. I mean, the big X was, like, on the farthest side from her body. Like, couldn't she have written it, like, closest to her? I don't know. She tried to correct the dying message as she wrote maid because there was another person who stabbed her neck while she was writing the letters. Yes. If Tamori died immediately as soon as her throat was cut, there wouldn't be a correction of the dying message, as she would have been left out of strength to muster. But even after being stabbed in the neck, her will was still living as much as being able to correct the message with all of her strength. Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Right, oh, because I guess, yeah, regardless if because maybe, yeah, she didn't know who killed her. She didn't know it was Hatno. But given that she saw someone with the flashlight writing maid with her blood, like, she surely knew that it wasn't Akane, because why would Akane write her name? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Oh, holding a knife on her throat. Ugh. Damn. That's pretty messed up. How Tamori had a cut throat and was alive for that long, I don't know. But things I've said now prove that Tamori was still alive under these conditions. Therefore, even if Tamori's time of death was 9:30 p.m., there's no evidence that you can say that you're incapable of committing this crime. Okay, yeah, that's crazy. That just kind of worked out in her favor then. Like, she was planning on just stabbing her initially, and then maybe getting an alibi when they discover the body, but that worked out even better for her, because she survived longer. It can't be. This is a lie. Ayame-chan. Really? This is such a ridiculous story about being alive with a stabbed neck. Ayame-chan, please say something. It's hard to believe, but humans are creatures that sometimes achieve phenomena beyond. It happens sometimes even in terror scenes. Nothing strange at all. Well, what? Then, Hatno, are you really the culprit? I don't know why Hatno did this. If my reasoning was wrong, it'd be really weird, but there's so many situations. The more I think Hatno's the culprit, the more it fits. Hatno, please, let me hear it from your own voice. The truth. Oh, wow, okay. Interesting that we're not getting Akane defending her. I think that's a new sprite for Kanata. Wait, I can't tolerate that Hatno's the culprit. It's unacceptable. Nori, I know it's hard to believe. I can't believe it either, but if you look at Hatno's actions, you can only say that she's so suspicious that everything goes in her favor. She's not suspicious. There's a reason it wasn't suspicious. I'll let you know why Hatno's not the culprit. Okay, I don't know what I'm gonna have to use here. I feel like we've almost used everything now. Third flashlight, the autopsy, Hatno's injury. Maybe Hatno's... or the autopsy? Do you have any idea her leg was hurt by the true killer? If Hatno's the culprit, she aimed for her own leg. She might have done that. The wire worked for the culprit who aimed at a random person. Hatno was unfortunately caught against her will. Okay. Do you really think so? Even if you target an unknown person, it's meaningless if it's not found. Maybe the third flashlight? No matter how you use a flashlight as bait, finding one in that short of a time is weird too. I mean, I don't know if it's that weird, considering it was right there. It's just by chance. If they would care about their own body, the killer wants to get out of here. There's no point in hurting your own body. She's not the culprit. Is it really coincidence that Hatno injured her leg? But if Hatno was the culprit, as Nori said, she would... Hatno would aim for her own leg. The reason is, I don't really know, but aside from that, I'm sure the wire trap was only meant for Hatno and no one else. Evidence is the one Nori told me, considering the situation. Okay, so I'm guessing it's Hatno's injury. Oh, okay. Nope, not that. Oh wait, no, that's not what I meant to do. No, wait, don't tell me that's a heart. Oh my god, I lost a heart for that. Oh my god, I'm selling. Okay, I mean, maybe it's that one? Like her leg was hurt by the true killer? Hatno was unfortunately caught against her will. I mean, it could be that one. Like, that's not true either. Or so we're saying. Do you really think so? It's, I mean, it's, I'm assuming it's gonna be on. Maybe it's her autopsy? The killer who wants to get out of here. No point in hurting your own body. Does this stay on the second stage? Okay, so the evidence is the one that she told me. Yeah, okay. So it's gotta be Inori's autopsy. It's hurt by the true killer. Hatno's the culprit. Okay, so maybe it's her autopsy on the second one here. I don't know if it's this. Oh, I tried to shoot that. It didn't work. Okay. Oh no, 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 are you kidding me? Oh my god. Okay, it's not... Oh, it is! Oh my god, I swear I did that one already, man. Oh my gosh. I think someone said in the comments there's a skill that I can get that increases your number of hearts. Like, I need that ASAP. I really hope it's after this chapter, because it's like, it's ridiculous. You only get 3 hearts, you lose a full heart for every time you get one wrong, and you can't regain them in any way. It's like, are you... And, like, it would be fine if it put me, like, right before, but sometimes it puts me, like, so far back, even at 10x speed, it takes, like, a couple minutes to get back. Anyway, whatever. Honori, I'm so sorry, but there's evidence that Hatno is the culprit. Nori's argument is clear. The culprit wouldn't hurt themselves, right? Of course, isn't it? If you are a killer, you're not supposed to aim for yourself. What if it was calculated to induce that thought? I mean, listen, not to say I called it, but I definitely called it, alright? Like, that was my first reaction to seeing it. That's crazy. I thought I was losing it. I almost, like, backed off. I felt badly, because I'm like, oh, if it's not her, like, that's really messed up. She's the ultimate sprinter. Like, she kind of needs her legs. That's crazy. Wow. Considering there are many aspects of this case, I did not know how they went down. Like, my educated guess ended up being right in a lot of areas, so I feel pretty good about my performance here. Which I did not going into the trial, so I feel a little validated now. That's good. What are you talking about, Maeda? Surely you don't mean... If you're a criminal, you can never hurt yourself. What if you were doing a self-play to deliberately draw out that thought? Otherwise, there's no gain for a killer to install the wire. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, why else would the killer put in a wire? There's no reason to put a wire somewhere we might not find it, off to the side, during the investigation. Unless you're gonna trip it yourself. Now, my reasoning was a little different. I thought the blood at the entrance was hers, and she, like, cut her leg, and, like, she had temporarily stopped the bleeding, but she couldn't stop it for long, so she would pretend to hurt herself to explain the bleeding. But this just ends up being, like, I guess, a sympathy distraction type thing. They ended up murdering and finished the process, but after that, when they installed a wire and aimed at someone, it only adds suspicion. There's no benefit from it for the killer. Something. Maybe there was a reason to put it there, isn't there? That's right, I'm sure there is, and that's why Ayame-chan is not the culprit, and that's not the only thing. Even if the killer, if they had some reason, they installed wires to target someone. Even so, how exactly do you intend to cut the leg tendon? Our stride length and calf size are all different. That's... Hey, cutting the tendon may not have been the purpose. Ayame-chan suffered a fatal injury because of bad luck. If that's the case, I wouldn't install the wire. You don't need to use wires while holding at risk your future. Then, I was aiming at Ayame-chan from the start. Oh no, so I installed the wire exactly in the position of Ayame-chan's tendon. How do you know that? It's difficult to know the position of a tendon without prior knowledge, but if you install it while calculating the trap to trip over? The only one of us who had that knowledge is a surgeon, Inori. Her own legs at the same time, who knows more about the muscles of athletes than Hatno herself? That she can't be. It did seem like we walk out and she's like, just checking it out now, and I'm gonna walk on over. Oh no, ah. Cue the Family Guy meme of like Peter just grabbing at his leg. It's like, That's what it kind of came across. And not quite that phony, but it definitely seemed a little phony. Or just like the timing was a little weird. Inori, Hatno was never caught in a trap because of bad luck, because she was caught in a trap that she installed. She was able to produce such a perfect tendon-cutting accident. That is pretty horrifying to think about, honestly. Like, she really wanted to get out of here. Phew, that was pretty good. It's really her. Why did Hatno... Well, I'm the one who saw Hatno's wound. I can't believe that she made a wound so full of evil intent. Ayame-chan can't be the culprit. I'd rather be the culprit, even if I'm executed only for Ayame-chan. I can't believe it either. I wish it was all a lie. I wish it was all a dream. I wish my reasoning had been turned into a mess and wake up from this nightmare. Is this how everything ends up? You can see it like that. Overall, I have the same opinion as Maeda, but I want to hear at least the confession from her mouth, because I have to make sure. Well, it's too late to argue at this point. Ayame Hatno, can I take your vote of silence as your affirmation of your crime and end this already? Yeah, how is he gonna act? Literally, he welcomed Kizuna back in. She planned to kill. And then Akane and Ayame both one turned out to be a killer, and one, I mean, it was self-defense, but she also stabbed Kizuna. So it's like, all three people in his supposed group all had, like, murderous intent, even though Akane didn't really, but... Yeah, I'm very curious to see how he acts going forward. What? Wait, not Ayame-chan, it can't be her. After all, it was me who stabbed Tomori. I'm the one who gets executed. I'd rather do that. Ayame-chan is innocent. Akane doesn't have to be executed. Ayame-chan. And, of course, not me either. She's still holding out. Ayame-chan. Going to try a last act, huh? It's not that. I just want to survive with Akane and leave this place. That's it. Your crime is already logical, and there's nothing wrong. Do you think force will work? I'm not convinced. If I'm the culprit, you haven't proved it without a doubt yet. Isn't a trial supposed to be won, after you convince the criminal to admit their defeat? You fool. What are you gonna do? Does anyone who know any evidence to satisfy this killer who talks like that? It doesn't matter if I tell you, but it wouldn't be less fun. What a slacker. It's a trial and you have to take it serious, I tell ya. It's all over anyway. I have to play around while watching this futile struggle. But there's no mystery to solve anymore. What do you plan to do now? Even if you say that, Ayame-chan's words assume, what if Ayame-chan's is not saying that they're the culprit? Nevertheless, it's hard. Okay, then let's reorganize the case from the beginning. Then we may notice something we missed. Let's go ahead. Go, where are we going? Stay still, you crazy big guy. One more. The definitive proof to convince Hatno. I think there's something left. If Hatno's convinced by saying this, if she's convinced, how should I react? Hatno's the culprit. Should I just accept that? Even so, I have no choice but to do it as long as I've come to this point. And then, show them the proof of her crime. Sure, whatever. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I remember how it works, actually. You have to reload the bullets, it's true. Okay, I just have to remember the controls, honestly. They're like shoes, that's cool. Got the Jordans on. Oh, what the hell is going on? What is happening? Oh, I'm out of ammo, okay. Oh my god. Screen is just shaking like crazy there. Okay, I'm actually about to lose. That's not good. No. Oh my god, I'm literally about to lose. Oh my god, oh my god! Ah. Oh my god, I'm so dead. I'm dead. Are you, bro, what is this, man? Oh my god, just lose a heart. Just lose a heart and let me try again. Okay, alright, that's fine. Holy crap, man. This has been a rough trial, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, I have to lock in here. The reticle doesn't move fast enough, like... I think, was I already at low health? I don't know, okay. Okay, yeah, that's... Oh my god, I'm not getting those. Oh, I got them, okay, let's go. No, okay, I got it. Reload. Oh my god, get her. Okay, oh my god, I almost lost. Okay. You can't hurt yourself being crazy. Thigh tendon, left side cut, thigh tendon. Oh, left side thigh tendon cut. Yeah, that's a normal way to say that. Was I right about the image and that, like, it was the wrong or something? I don't know. Let's see what they say. $55, yikes. First, I want to ask Honori just to be sure. To me? Of course, where did Hatno say she was injured? Her thigh, more precisely, her left side wide leg laceration caused by a hamstring injury. Hey Maeda, what are you asking all this all of a sudden while dealing with me? Are you giving up after all? Honori, that hamstring refers to a muscle that is important to keeping the leg straight, right? Where exactly is the location of that muscle? Right, it's one of the 3 places that connects the hip with the leg. To put it simply, it's a muscle that's widely distributed in the back of the leg. That's it, but what's all this explanation for? Hey, don't talk about anything that doesn't matter, Maeda. Since Ayame-chan's innocent, there's no more room for refutation anymore. No, this is important. Very important, in fact. Honori's words just had a decisive clue that Hatno's the culprit. Eh? Everyone heard what Honori said, right? Hatno's injury is on the back muscle of her left thigh. Yeah, the back. Then why did Hatno go forward? I said this to pick up the flashlight, and the back of her thigh ends up hurt. I thought I was crazy, because in the truth bullet picture, it does look like it's the front. But here, I thought it was just a mistake. Wow, okay. Well, I'm glad I still locked in Hatno, because yeah, I did 100% catch that. What? Oh, it's true. I only cared that Hatno was hurt, but I didn't think it was suspicious. But it's weird that when you think about it, she stumbled forward but got hurt on the back of her leg. That's what I'm saying. Come on, man. Let's go. Even if I fall back, my nose breaks. But I guess this doesn't matter now. I can't think of any other reason but one. Hatno, from the very beginning, on her own volition, she was caught deliberately in the trap to inflict a wound as fatal as possible. My god, then it really means it was entirely self-inflicted? Really? I mean, I still don't know how she did that, because we saw her trip. Like, that's why I thought it was a mistake, because we saw her walk forward, so it would have been, like, very precise. But I guess, yeah, if she knew where it was, she could have had it, like, slice the back of her leg there. I don't know why you did that, but it may have been to pretend to be a victim and to be less suspicious, is my guess. That can't... No. There's gotta be a mistake. No. I wish I was lying. Why? This is just this is a choice. If you want to get out of the game, then just lie. Why don't we make a conclusion now? I've wasted enough time, and I'm getting tired of various factors, such as the vitality of a cockroach of Taira Akane and Tamori Kizuna, although I believe it's all over now. No, no, no! Something's wrong. Yame-chan wouldn't do this. I mean that. Oh, do we have to do the rebuttal rhythm game with her? Yame-chan was never the type to kill. We just did the rhythm game. I've been doing this trial for too long. Oh my god. Yeah, we just have the closing argument left. The person who's driven as a criminal is still there. Why are you upset? You just stay put. Taira, it's really hard to accept, but we have no choice but to accept the conclusions we've drawn. Otherwise, nothing will end, and nothing will begin. Now, finally, let's do a final summary of all the events thus far, so that everyone can accept the answers as we have presented. So everyone can choose. Alright, I think I know. Yeah, let's just get into it. Has been a long trial, much longer than the first, although I did mess up a lot, so that's partially why. Okay, so she starts off by getting the stuff, the fuse. Does that mean that the fuse line that was on the wall wasn't originally there in the room? I just assumed it was part of the room. Huh. Okay, so she gets all that stuff from the room there, the antique store. Okay, so then, what do we have here? So they meet up. This is after, yeah, here. Honestly, there are a lot of things that I didn't see coming in this case, but I still got a lot of things. I feel pretty good about what I was able to come up with beforehand. So yeah, she stabs her. Yeah, like I didn't see Kizuna like attempting to kill. I didn't see Akane's involvement. Even the broken flashlights. Yeah, like there's a lot that I did not know about. So there's a struggle in the dark. It's where she's looking at the blood on her hands, and then she runs. I mean, I wouldn't put your bloody hand on your mouth. And then Ayame sees it, which is why she writes maid, I'm assuming. Act 3, she's been stabbed, it's still on her side, she's kind of sitting there. She comes in, takes some blood, writes maid, and shanks her. And they blocked it with the cloth here. And then, I don't know what they're doing in this shot here. They're looking at her. And then they leave. In order to make it as if there's a fire, they installed a fuse line. Okay, so they installed the fuse line. That's the thing. I just thought that was there from the beginning, to be honest. I can't remember if we ever got a good enough look in the Switchium before the incident to see that. But it was just like all throughout the room. I just thought it was always there. Yeah, calls out that there's the fire. And honestly, yeah, the reason why this was so suspicious and why I suspected her, it's like in V3 when Kyo is like, when Tenko dies during the seance, it's like, well, like you arranged the whole seance. And here it's like she called out the fire, she tripped on the wire, like all these things that like in a vacuum aren't that suspicious, but looking at the killer's intentions, yeah, it definitely points back to them as being suspicious. So then what do we have left? We have the wire. I think it's the people who discover the fire put it out. I think it's this one. Yep. And then she is still alive, which is crazy that she's still alive like 30 minutes after getting stabbed in the neck with a knife. Then she writes the X, like, although it was really far away from her, so I don't know. Maybe it wasn't as far away as it looked. He hears a clink. Oh, like the window breaking? That's what he hears? Then she asks about the tripwire, cuts herself. Bing, bang, boom. We got her. Let's go. All right. The start of this case begins after the first trial and ends when the second floor opens. It was the late night on the second day after she got out. By this point, there was someone who stopped by the antique shop for a purpose. She got some tools from the antique shop. The tools they brought for this time were the fuse, the lighter, and the flashlight. Surprisingly, this person's identity was Tamori, who was also the victim of the incident. But now we know that Tamori had been planning to murder her all this time. Yeah, before we even shared our motives. All the tools she picked up earlier were the tools that Tamori had procured in advance to use in a murder. As a result, she died, and the real culprit of this case was the one who used the tools that she had prepared. However, on the morning of the third day, Atori, who stopped by the antique shop every day, must have noticed that some items have already been missing. Sadly, he didn't tell us because he thought it was a simple mistake, and he would have created confusion. So, without anyone knowing, Tamori's murder plan proceeded slowly, and then Monokuma gave us the motive. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, the motive really didn't seem like it was gonna connect at all. So I guess, although maybe it somehow was why Ayame decided to kill. As everyone knows, the motive was a note with our secrets, but this was just this was a joke that nobody cared about. But only Tamori was different. Tamori thought she could use this motivational note, so she decided to add a step in her original plan. That's right, me. It was an operation to use the secret note of Yuki Maeda to capture Taira and join forces. Tamori told Taira, okay, now it's spelled differently, to come to the Switchium alone, and Taira headed to that place without any doubt. Although now it makes me feel more confident that I'm pronouncing Taira correctly when they're spelling it like that. So she goes. Taira, it may seem a little petty, but she in fact actually wasn't swayed. Tamori expected this to happen, and after the second day onwards, by acting weak, she wanted to weaken our boundaries. The appearance of being lonely, the appearance of hesitation, the appearance of accepting us with tears. That's a crazy long con. Yeah, I did not call that out at all. Maybe I'm biased because I like Hyoko a lot, and she reminds me of Hyoko. But yeah, that I should have seen it coming, honestly, but I really didn't. I thought she was turning around. It was only a fake scene to kill even with a little more smoothly. That's a true nature of Tamori Kazuna. We were all fooled by Tamori. Taira, at the time, she wasn't wary of Tamori at all, so she went to the Dark Switchium. Although, again, let's not meet up in pitch black places at the middle of the night, guys. Like, come on. Have a little survival instincts here. There, Tamori showed Taira a secret note and a plan, and revealed a plan to kill me. Taira said that Tamori picked up the secret note that someone discarded from the trash can. It was written like this: Yuki Maeda may actually know the identity of the mastermind. Of course, this is not true. There's going to be something to that later, but I think that's only endgame, because I don't know who the mastermind is. But in order to kill me with that pretext, she needed Taira's help. Tamori tried to get Taira out like that. But Taira didn't follow Tamori's words. No matter what, murder shouldn't be done by anyone. She's pissed. She doesn't like that response. When things didn't work out as intended, Tamori gradually began to reveal her true nature. Once Taira refused, she couldn't let Taira leave, the one who had heard the murder plan. Yeah, exactly. So instead, Tamori changed the target. The one who she expected to refuse her was decided to be killed in front of her. Tamori ran into Taira without much warning, but luckily Taira avoided the first strike. Taira panicked by Tamori's sudden attack. Taira tried to run away, but she was pushed by Tamori and fell. Then she tried to resist Tamori, swinging a knife in front of her nose. In the process, the flashlights that Taira and Tamori had were broken in by a struggle, and the Switchium, which lost its only light. They were struggling in the deep darkness. Several minutes continued during this fierce encounter, but at some point the struggle suddenly ended. I don't know why Tamori became quiet, but Taira, who was in danger of her life, decided to leave the Switchium because she wanted out of the situation. Very rational response. The first thing that Taira did, or found out when she got out of the Dark Switchium in a bright spot, was the intense color of blood. Taira only saw the blood on her body. Of course, it wasn't her own blood, and instinctively she realized that she had stabbed Tamori in the middle of a struggle without even knowing herself. Taira, who was shocked in fear and horror in her head, went to the bathroom. She thought about washing the blood quickly from her. But looking at Taira like this, the culprit perhaps found out what she had done. It's not clear whether they saw Taira in person, but the killer must have found Tamori within that short time after Taira left the power room. If someone other than the culprit in this case discovered Tamori, they might have saved Tamori by calling Inori. Oh, that's true, yeah. But the culprit in this case didn't have that thought in mind at all. In any case, the culprit who noticed the situation in the Switchium must have found Tamori in a dying state caused by Taira. Tamori tried to target Tyra, but she was forced to act as she did not die immediately. The reason for this can be found in the dying message she wrote. Tamori, realizing that she was going to die, wrote on the floor with her own blood to let us know the identity of the killer, who stabbed her, not Maid. In other words... Oh, so wait, she did write the whole thing? I thought Hotno had written Maid because she saw... She saw Akane running out. So she wrote Maid, and then she put the X. But I guess she just wrote the whole thing, not Maid. Huh. Okay. Again, that's... I guess, yeah, because if she couldn't see... yeah, I feel I get what she was going for, and, like, when you've been stabbed, like, obviously, you're gonna... Yeah, wait, okay, hang on. Who stabbed her? In other words, to refer to the ultimate maid student, Tyra. Let me just see what this next thing says. The thought had passed by the killer's mind so far was not thinking of telling everyone to save Tamori. The thought of killing Tamori was that she couldn't breathe, so they would just blame the wrong person. So the bloody message was written before she was stabbed in the neck? I thought she was stabbed in the neck after. I don't know. I'm a little confused on that. For them, the killer committed a terrible act that was hard to think of as a human being. It was hard. In order to give a certain final blow, they first pulled the knife stuck in Tamori's stomach. It was already cruel enough to do this, however. A little laugh. They aimed the kitchen knife at Tamori. Yep. Just to put it back in her neck. In the process, blood squirted like a fountain, but the killer was wearing a piece of cloth about the size that they could cover them, preventing the blood from splattering them. In contrast to Tyra, who stabbed Tamori in an accident, and unintentionally, you can see that it was extremely premeditated crime. That's how Tamori lost her strength to live. Tamori thought about killing, of course, and even tried to kill Tyra. Still, did she have to die so badly? Either way, the culprit who succeeded in killing Tamori through a fatal wound now was starting a backup operation. First, the killer installed the fuse, drawing a line around the walls of the switchium. I don't know where Tamori originally intended to use it, but they used the tools Tamori had. In the end, since Tamori prepared the tools, the killer themselves couldn't be suspected of this act. In actuality, we had a pretty hard time figuring out who brought the tools because of this. The fuse was installed mainly on the glass window as to not burn equipment as much as possible, and then lit it with a lighter. The lighter was originally brought by Tamori, and the reason the glass was made to break automatically was because the temperature inside the switchium becomes hot after a certain period of time, using the temperature difference between indoors and outdoors. While the criminal themselves was with the others, if they heard the cracking sound, as long as they made them think someone inside the switchium broke the glass, the killer had the perfect alibi. Or so it would seem. This was the unusual structure of the switchium, and the glass window was cleared. It was possible because of the characteristics of the room, but this trick wasn't that meticulous. No one noticed the fire when the fire was being made. It was a futile trick. So the killer put the plan into action before anyone else. After completing the installation of the fuse, the criminal reported the fact of the fire with a loud voice as if they were the fire discoverer. Some of the people who heard the sound came to the front of the switchium as the culprit intended. Those who heard the killer's voice at the time were Kinjo, Makaru, and Yuhara, those three people. At that point, three people who had not yet known a murder had occurred decided to extinguish the fire first without even dreaming that they were with the killer. Now even the killer came with a fire extinguisher from the hallway and started to extinguish the flames. Then, to us, to the killer, to anyone, something unimaginable happened. Tamori, who must have had her throat pierced with the kitchen knife, was still alive. It's strange enough to say that that it's a contradiction when you think about it in general, but Tamori, being the victim, was holding on to a thread-like lifeline. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So Tyra, or Hotno wrote Maid herself, and then Tamori wrote the X after she was stabbed in the throat. So that hand was not Tamori earlier. That's what was confusing me. So she corrected the dying message that wrote Maid with a large X next to it. Okay, yeah, not the Maid. Alright, yeah, that's what I thought happened. That makes more sense. Okay. I would have liked the killer's name instead. It's possible they didn't even know who it was, depending on how dark it was, and if the light from the flashlight was like shone away from Hatno. But just an X with a throat stabbed. It was already an incredible feat to do. Yeah, that's fair. After correcting the dying message, Tamori's life was gone, bleeding because her heart was beating until then the amount of blood increased more than that of an ordinary person. Thanks to that, we could prove Tamori was still alive. Of course. That would have been fatal for the killer. Yes, originally, only looking at the words made put Tyra in doubt. She could have done it, but because the X was left remaining for no reason, the elaborate plan was doomed to fail. Tamori, even though she tried to kill and she couldn't be forgiven, she acted. At the end of the day, she was trying to tell us the correct answer with all of her strength. Honestly, given what type of person she was, probably more likely just didn't want the killer to get away with it more than anything, as opposed to like caring about our well-being. But you know, you never know. And the situation goes back to the power room. When the fire was put off and the setup was almost completely staged, suddenly hearing the sound of glass breaking inside the switchium. This was done in the best conditions intended by the killer. Thanks to this, everyone thought someone inside the switchium broke the glass. Dramatic sound effect. Everyone was the way the killer wanted. Everything was the way the killer wanted. The killer, who was on the scene at the time, I would imagine, had a smile of satisfaction. Three of them, except Yuhara, who went to watch the entrance to check the sound, went inside the switchium. And there they saw Tamori's body. At that point, the body discovery announcement rang. The others who heard the body discovery announcement arrived one by one. Everyone gathered in the power room. Perhaps Tyra, who was in the position of the third party at this time, was the most surprised because Tyra did not know the existence of the criminal. She thought she was the culprit, and yet a fire incident happened that Tyra herself did not know. So when we received the Monokuma file and started investigating, the killer started the last act. First, the killer puts the third flashlight they used on the floor. The flashlight was also in a state of charcoal because it was caught in the fire. The reason why is because they threw something that catches our eye on the floor in order to create a certain situation. The killer installed a sharp wire on the way to the flashlight. And she talked as if she found a flashlight and voluntarily walked to pick it up. Yes, even though she knew that she had a sharp wire installed. Here, the killer deliberately gets caught in a wire trap and cut their own leg. It was also precisely aimed at cutting the back tendon. I didn't even think at that time that the killer was going to cripple their own leg. I did, but Yuki didn't, although it was the culprit's intention to make us think so. One mistake of the killer here is that the rear tendon was cut despite walking forward. Yeah, but I didn't even think about it because a person who saw an injured... Yeah, if you saw someone injured at that time, you wouldn't think like that. Unless you're me, but I thought it was just a mistake, honestly. It must have been the culprit's whole idea, whose purpose was to get out of here. The culprit even gave up one of their own legs and pretended to look like a victim in all this. Thanks to that, we almost got hooked into thinking, would you cut your own leg? While staring at us, the killer would have been laughing inside. In this case, there were three people, including the killer, Tamori, and Tyra. But also most of the suspicions went to Tyra. So the identity of the killer was ambiguous. However, as a result of matching Tyra's honest statements with various situations, we were able to uncover the identity of the killer, the criminal, who tried to hide their identity by throwing away their leg, which is crazy. Like, it also seems a little unnecessary. Like, I don't know. It did make people hesitate when accusing her, but that is going, I guess the crazier it seems, the less likely we would be to suspect that she would actually do something like that, to be fair. But yeah, that still seems a little bit unnecessary. Perpetrator who committed such a terrible thing to Tamori, the identity of the culprit who was smiling with a smile of deceit, watching our actions behind the scenes. Both the sports people, I think those are the only two athletic people in our group, are the first two killers, which is kind of crazy, honestly. It's no one else other than you, Hatno Ayame. Wow. Crazy. That was a crazy trial. It was way more complicated than the first one. Way more complicated than I knew it was complex going into it. There were way more levels to it than I thought. Like Kizuna being an attempted killer, our secret. Like, I didn't see either of those things coming. Even Akane's involvement, I thought she might be I thought it was too obvious for her to be the killer, but she was still way more involved than I thought. I thought she might have known that Hatno did it and was trying to protect her, but yeah, really, really interesting stuff. How about it, Hatno? If you have anything else to object to, please do. No, wait a minute, something's wrong. It's not like this. Really? What's not like it? It's all decided. Shouldn't we see it to the end now? No, it's not over. It can't be over. But Even if everything is correct and there's evidence, I can't convince myself Hotno is the killer who murdered Tomori that way. Darn it, Hotno. Damn it. It's all over then. No, no, Ayame-chan, please, please tell them they're wrong. No, no. No, finally gonna speak up? No. And that's that. Phase 6, I got 0 points. Probably one of the ones where I died a million times. How many coins do we have? Oh my god, okay, that scream scared me, honestly, but that's great. I don't get any medals because I died more than once. That's crazy. I mean, honestly, with the free time events broken, and the fact that I got 200 already for starting chapter 2, or with the like new translation here, I don't really need medals. That's a crazy punishment, though. Wow. And that scream sound effect was not necessary. Oh, okay. What? Are you done? Oh, what the hell? You guys took so long that I was asleep in the middle of it. Nope, I never slept. Mr. Monokuma, did you sleep? Oh, no doubt. Okay, well, anyways, you guys seem to have come to your own conclusion, so it's okay to go into voting time soon? Now then, you guys, vote with the switch in front of your hands. As I said last time, we do not accept invalid votes, so please press carefully. As a result of the voting, who will become the blackened? Will the answer be the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? Now, what's it gonna be? Well, I think it will be the right one. Yeah, I definitely think I'm going to split this into 2 parts because this was a long trial. The first one was like Trigger Happy Havoc length. This was like I mean, I did die a lot, which slowed it down, but this is, I feel like, more of like a late Danganronpa 2 trial length. Or V3 one, even. That's amazing. You're correct. Tomori Kizuno was terribly killed like that by the ruthless Blackened. Which who was? Ayame Hotno. That's the answer. That's crazy. I was not very confident when I said it was her beforehand. I picked up on some of the things that they used to pin her as the culprit, but I'm surprised that I got it right, but you know, I'm pleasantly surprised. The answer. Did we do it? Did we get the culprit? Why is it the correct answer? I'm not happy to guess, but damn it. Oh, by the way, the vote wasn't unanimous. Ms. Tyra, no matter how much you wanted voting on yourself, you don't want a suicide, okay? Would you believe what you're saying? I can't admit it. I won't admit it. It's a big deal, so be careful next time. Anyway, whatever you say, there's only one truth, but I said it right. I don't lie when it comes to class trials. Is this real? Is Hot Note really the killer? Of course she is. I guarantee this. You guys said the answer when you came up with it at the end, right? Denying this is nothing more than escape from reality. It's a lie, right? Ayame-chan. Yeah, can we hear about why you did this? Only the judge was talking. Everyone else couldn't even breathe, because the result of this trial was so terrible. Ms. Tyra played the role of accomplice, so the case was extremely extreme. But it was also the incident that happened late at night. Why? I ask why? Why did a girl like you kill her? Watch your mouth, Kobushikawa-kun. This can't be true. How is Ayame trying to kill her? We want to believe that, but... Stop it, Akane. Huh? Any more than this, and it'll only make it worse. I can't hide it anymore. What are you talking about, Ayame-chan? You can't hide it. Oh, if you say it like that, it makes you look like a culprit, you know? Well, it's too late. I'm sorry. You're sorry? Why are you apologizing? Why? Why? Tomori was killed by me. What? Yeah, well, you don't have to make another announcement because Monokuma already confirmed it. Why did you... Did she have to kill? Oh, did you have to? Did she had to kill even as good? Did you have to go as far as breaking your own leg? Well, that's right. If the answer we came up with is correct, it doesn't mean all that we said our reasoning was correct. We were asking to end the trial early so we could heal your leg as soon as possible. Yeah, that was part of the trick behind it, honestly. Try to rush to a conclusion. If you're the killer, it doesn't make sense. I don't believe it. I won't believe it. I skipped it too early. Yeah, in the end, you were also a murderer. It's surprising, but the word unexpected doesn't apply to criminals. Because even outside these walls are piles of criminals who are doing heinous things with dismal faces. Why did you do it? Please answer us. Why did you do that? That's obvious. It's because I want to get out of here. Huh? Isn't that obvious? Other than that, there's no other reason to commit murder. To get out of here and seek my freedom, I want to return to my usual daily living. That's why everyone has no choice but to sympathize. It was just the choice of murderer's means. OMG? What did you just say? You finally got my plan. Oh, haha, you finally got my plan. I thought it was perfect because I could use Akane Taira. No, hot no. What? In the end, you were just the same person as Higa? All athletes are murderers? Oh, her name's not translated. This is what nature is, after all. Nobody can judge just by looks. Now, I must know, that evil face that committed this murder. Oh, you caught me. Here, haha. Oh my god, it looks like Sarugi's face, honestly. Ha 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 ha. This is Hateno's true nature. She just wanted to get out of here, and for that reason she killed Tamori. Interesting that the motive didn't really seem to actually matter. And it was just the base motive of you have to kill to escape, which they always added like additional motives in all of the Danganronpa games, honestly. But at the end of the day, that is the main motivation for killing, is to get out of here. So it's interesting that, yeah, that's basically the only reason, again, for trying to kill is to get out of here. Really? That's all? Something doesn't feel right. As Kinjo said, I shouldn't judge by appearances, but this might be what Hateno really looks like. But what is this deep pain in my head? I can't see with my eyes open anymore. Let's just end it. End it? You mean the execution? You mean you're that kind of person? Hateno? For what in the hell did we do this for? Damn it. Oh, why did what did we trust you for? Monokuma, get it started. Now wait a second, can we finish things like this? Can we really send Hateno like this? But Maeda, look at her. You may be right, but whatever you say to her won't work. Execution. Unfortunate for me. It was a waste. Hateno, is this really you? Are you saying you're pretending to be a human being? Yes, this is the real me. I thought you guys were stupid and couldn't figure it out. My tricks, but I guess you weren't so bad after all. What did you say? Hey, please stop, Hateno. If I look at Hateno's appearance any more than this, I'll go crazy. Hateno, you really don't have regrets? Are you satisfied with your actions? Of course, it's my execution. Come on. If you say regret, I couldn't get out of here. That's all I regret. Lies. What? You wanting to get out of here? It's a lie. What? You think you know me, don't you? It's not a lie. I did murder because I wanted to get out of here, that's all. If you wanted to leave this place, you wouldn't have cut your own leg. Yeah? Is it what I was saying earlier where she knew that if Kizuna bled out, Akane would be the killer? And now she's just trying to act all evil so that we don't feel as bad and we can, like, just kind of not, like, regret and not dwell on her death? What do you mean? Hateno did murder, that's correct, but there must have been another reason. You acting like a villain, but your body is trembling, Hateno. Curses. Then, the Hateno we just saw, she was just acting? Almost like Pekka was acting like a crazy serial killer at the end of Danganronpa 2's trial? You mean she was acting crazy on purpose? Then why'd she really kill? Kurokawa, I can't. Hateno. After saying that, Hateno's appearance returned to normal. At that moment, I felt the pain disappearing from my mind, and the sense of incongruity just before was gone. My hands were already dirty, and it might sound like an excuse, but please let me tell you. This is how I committed my murder. I was running down the second-floor corridor at the time of the incident. As you guessed, at the time I saw Akane running somewhere. She was going in such a hurry. I tried to talk, but then realized Akane's body was covered in blood. I went to the power room where Akane had come out with, no doubt. Or I came out from, no doubt, and I found out that something had happened inside the switch unit. I took a flashlight in a hurry to check the condition inside, and Tamori was dying, and there was a knife stuck in her stomach, as you all said. Then why did you kill her there? You could have just thought of a way to call the others, and let Tamori live. Because that was not the case. It wasn't the case? According to the facts I've seen, when I discovered her, Tamori was almost dead. I knew she wasn't dead because she was breathing hard, but that was it. She was already in the brink of death. That was until she got killed by you. I was worried, anxious, and scared. Yeah. If Tamori dies, Akane becomes the killer. It was a scary thought. Yup. And yeah, this is worse and more painful when you have to watch her execution, which is why she was trying to act like an evil mastermind before. I just wanted to throw that thought away. What? At that time, I really wanted to think about it. That kind and good-natured Akane, why would she stab Tamori? I learned that it was an accident, though, before the trial, but at the time she had no idea. In my head, I just went like this because I thought about Akane becoming the blackened out of this case. I just couldn't leave her alone. I couldn't leave my friend alone while knowing everything, throwing everything away for the sake of survival. Wait a minute, then the reason you committed murder was... Ayame-chan. Because of me? To release me from becoming the blackened? Oh no, that's terrible. I just couldn't stay put and watch Akane being executed for pretending like I didn't see it. I also wanted to call on Nori to heal Tamori, but if Tamori's breathing goes out while I went to get a Nori, then Akane would have been executed without fail due to my mistaken judgment. I couldn't allow that to happen. Ah, ah, wah. Then from the very beginning, you were thinking of dying instead of Tyra? And that includes the cut in her tendon. Oh, that was the wrong voice. All of that was to protect Tyra? Whoa. But then, like, her trying to get away with it, if she gets away with it, like, Akane would have died anyway, so, like, I don't know, that's kind of, I mean, maybe she wasn't fully planning on getting away with it, but she sure did, like, I mean, she even wrote, the maid did it, did she not? Like, or, oh, wait, maybe, was I wrong again about that? Did Kizuna initially write that the maid was the culprit, but then after she was stabbed in the neck by Ayame, then she, like, put the X next to it after? Were they both her? Oh, maybe they were both her. Okay, yeah. That makes more sense, I guess. But still, if she got away with it, like, she still would have been killed. Or Akane would have been killed anyway. This is the truth. I couldn't just say I didn't know about my friend's crime. A sad tragedy born from friendship. For a while, no one could speak. Inside the courtroom, only Tyra's wailing. Tyra's wailing was the only voice ringing in our ears. Was that really the only reason? Yeah? It is a commendable act to lay down one's life for another. It's not possible without some courage. In that aspect, you deserve to be recognized. But if those were the only intentions to do that, it would not have been necessary to go through a trial like this, right? Even if you reveal the facts to everyone and accept the execution, your intentions do not change. But at the time of the trial, your appearance became as if you looked desperate. Hey, Makaru, if you say anything more to Hatno, I won't let it stand. Even if you're a woman. I'm not scared of you, idiot, and shut up. I'm talking with Ayame Hatno right now. No, it's okay. Calm down, Kobuchikawa. Sure, Makaru, there was something else. Oh, what else was there? I didn't tell you this, as it would sound like an excuse if I said it the first time. As Makaru pointed out, doing this for Akane may have just been a pretext. I'll tell you everything. I can't be said that there was no darkness in my heart. Somewhere in my mind, it was like, it's okay because it's for Akane, but there was also the desire to get out from this place. It must have existed in my mind at one point. I actually like that they're adding that on because that is a more rational, more realistic way for her to be thinking in that situation, where it's like you can use that as an excuse to be like, oh, it's okay. Like, I'm doing this to save Akane, but then you're really trying to just use it as like a free kill, and you can use the confusion to try and get away. It did? Oh, but even with your leg like this was a meaning of apology to you guys if I succeeded in escaping. Oh, interesting. And even if my leg is paralyzed, everything's already too late. What are you saying? Motive. The first motive we got when Maki was murdered. The outside world I saw, there was a terrible world that I couldn't even run properly. How is that possible? So in the end, the initial motive was driving force too. Interesting. That's actually a unique situation. It makes sense though. Like, it doesn't, in the original games, it doesn't really make sense a lot of the time that the motive, especially the video motives, like, it only applies to one person, and as soon as the chapter is done, like, those old motives, like, never to be used again, never to be really thought of again. So I actually like that we're revisiting it. Other than me, my coworkers and rivals, they can't even walk anymore. How does that make sense? Like, how does that happen? Like, what, they're all in wheelchairs? But if that's the case, then what's the use of getting out of here with my legs fine? Yeah, like, how is that possibly true? What? How did that happen? Hatno, what happened? I thought that video, it was just a manipulation. And I thought Hatno would be fine, or would be the first to run nonstop and never be fooled. I know, but I wanted to check if it was real. Until I saw it with my own eyes, I was nervous. And every day it drove me like crazy. This wasn't recent. From the time Maki's been running around in my head, I had nightmares every night, and I was always confused when I was with her. All that can be said of me is the fact that something has gone blank. I wanted to see it with my own eyes. No one objected to Hatno. The feeling Hatno felt was exactly the same as me, because I still remember my family. And when I was alone, I couldn't stay still because of anxiety. After all, every breath was about the motive again and again. We were vigilant about that new motive called the secret note, but the motive that I was given for the first time, no matter how many new motives came out, it did not disappear. The intense image was clearly stuck in our minds. I understand the feeling, but you were weird. I don't feel a strong will like Mitsuhiro Higa. The desire to go outside. Was it a conflict? Conflict? Yeah, like an internal struggle. Will you lose us for the chance to leave outside? Would you accept death for your dear friend Tyra? You were in conflict, weren't you, Hadna? It wasn't as big as that, but by the time Maeda appointed me as the culprit, I had already given up on escaping. After everything was revealed. But the reason I got ugly and struggled until the end, it was because of Akane. I was relieved to learn that it was only an accident that Akane stabbed Tamori during the trial because I knew Akane was the way I knew her. Even though after I was driven as the culprit, Akane tried to deny my crime more severely than me, the culprit, to prevent me from getting executed. I am the one that betrayed you all and committed murder. I'm a little happy inside. Like I wanted Akane not to die. She is the same mind too. More than that, how disappointed Akane would be if I committed the crime. Not to mention Maeda and Kinjo couldn't be beaten. Haha. Why are you smiling? Huh? Oh, you're angry, Akane. I knew you'd be disappointed, but I'm sorry. Why? You did something like that? You did because of someone like me? How can you laugh like that? How can I laugh? Akane asked something very strange. Thanks to me, you're able to survive safely. Is there anything more simple than this? Hot no. Oh, damn it. In the end, I'm just an idiot who, after weighing in between dreams and bonds, that's chapter title, I've done things that shouldn't be done. Still, I'm satisfied. I could have saved at least Akane. I feel somewhat relieved. Although my dream ends here, you guys don't make the same mistake like me. Go after the best dreams you believe in. I chose to protect my friend rather than my dream. Now I'll say goodbye to this world. But at least I have no regrets. Don't say goodbye or end it like that. You make it sound so ominous. That really happened. It happens even if you don't say that? Monokuma. Well, I understand Hano's situation, but it's taking too long. If this is a game, you have to think about the person who plays it, who's been sitting here for like 3 hours. Shut up, Monokuma. I don't know what Ms. Hodno thought and what circumstances caused the murder. The important thing is the result. In the end, the fact that you killed Ms. Tamori doesn't change one bit. Murder means the order has been broken. For a Blackened who has broken it, an appropriate punishment is necessary. Yes, I'm to be punished. You take the sin and pay a penalty for it. Oh, confident attitude, but I don't like that. It's different from Hikakun. But for Miss Hotno and Miss Tyra, it's whatever. In the end, the cause was that you wanted to go out. You wanted to get out, right? Hey. Why, Hotno-san a little while ago said it with her own mouth. She was conflicted because she wanted to get out. Shut up. You were the one who created the situation itself. What are you saying? What am I saying? Are you that stupid? If you forget the outside world, this wouldn't happen. You just need to live comfortably here, so if you want to get out, you have to go through a murder case. You should know this already. Stop spouting your nonsense and go ahead, disgusting bear. Fine, I won't meddle with you guys anymore. It's also because midnight's already passed, so let's start! The heart-racing punishment time! I've prepared a very special punishment for Ayame Hatano, the ultimate sprinter, who is the Blackened of this case. Everyone, remember to get along. No, wait a minute. Ayame-chan, please wait. Oh, there's still so many things I haven't told you. Ayame-chan. Let's go! All out! Ayame-chan, because of me, because of a fool like me, I stabbed someone by accident, and I didn't do any cleanup. I also just bothered you. I made this scene. Don't go. I'm gonna die. All I need to do is die. Monokuma, wait. It's punishment time! Akane, I want you to be alive. Live. Wait! Well, if there's any doubt to whether Akane's surviving to at least the end of the game, I would say this pretty much confirms it, similarly to how after Trial 2 and Danganronpa 2 is pretty obvious Fuyuhiko is going to survive most, if not all, of the game. I would wager it's going to be the same with Akane here. Yeah, that is crazy, though. Both of the sports players out are the first two killers. Got like a Monokuma on wheels here. Is he going to race her? And she's chained to a chair. Oh, hurdles. Okay. Are they just gonna like... Is that gonna like come up behind her or something? Ultimate Sprinter dismantling sports day. Okay. Doing the hurdles. I like how it kind of looks like a shocked Monokuma at the back. So she's gonna end up in there, I guess. She's almost at the goal. Oh. Oh, damn, it just sliced her in half. That's crazy. And it's gonna saw her right up. Damn, that's brutal. And there it is. Honestly, I slightly preferred that to Mitch's execution. Yeah. Yahoo! This thrilling feeling of endorphins rising. It's a fantastic profit. Ayame-chan, Ayame-chan. No! It's too much flesh, blood, hot no. Oh no, I don't think I can hold it in anymore. Hot no is executed. So much cruelty, so mercilessly. I found myself closing my mouth to endure the vomit that had reached my throat. So for her colleagues and for her best friend, Hotno willingly gave up her life. How many people can do that in the world? That was the kind of person she was. Goodbye, Hotno. Evil, ugly. It's not a dream. How much longer do I have to continue in this nightmare? That's up to you guys. If it's a nightmare, if you guys would forget it's only the outside world and live in harmony here, you're happy to do so. You don't know what to do? You mentioned this in the first trial as well. Forget the outside world. Keep emphasizing the words. What is the purpose? What's the reason you want from keeping us inside? Ah, if I tell you that, it's a major spoiler. It might transform into a wave of protest. Shut up, you bastard. Why do you have to do this to us? Why? Tell us the reason. Wouldn't it be desperate to kill each other without knowing that? Then let's ask something different. The cost of entering an execution of the school is nothing but ordinary, absolutely impossible. What the hell are you? Where does this organization come from? There are a lot of things you're curious about, huh? Good, then would you like a special service? Everything that you see in this school, from the beginning, it was all here. I just modified it a tiny bit. I tried so hard to make you guys feel amazing despair, yet you guys ignored my warnings. Truly sad. You're so noisy. What is despair? Is it so fun to play with a person's life? Huh? Do you think I'm doing this just to simply enjoy it? Well, it's true at some point, although I'm actually enjoying it. You guys don't know how important all of this is. No clue at all. What are you talking about? Nothing you need to know. If you're curious, do your own research and find out. After all, it's written in the school rules, investigation is always free to do. Well, that's it. After doing a brilliant execution, I woke up because I'm feeling so worked up, but if I don't sleep, it's dangerous because I might sleep all day tomorrow. Of course, everyone did a good job. It seems to be a good despair finale, so at this point, the class trial is over. Good night. After Monokuma disappeared, only Tyra's sobbing sound came from the trial grounds. I felt like I would go crazy too. It's an indescribable evil feeling, a feeling of despair beyond reason. It seemed like my body was being crushed by a tremendous pressure. But I can't give up here. I have to move forward for the sake of our dead friends, even though I thought in my head my body wouldn't move nor follow. Can we really get out of here? The second trial is over. 4 people have lost their lives. Who will be next? Is it me? Ayame-chan. Tyra, calm down. Everyone's sad. It's all because of me. Kizuna-chan died because of me. Ayame-chan also died because of me. I mean, Kizuna wasn't really your fault. That's right, isn't it? All because of me. All because of me. All because of me. Reprimanding for yourself. I know that all too well that it wasn't because of Tyra, but I just couldn't tell her anything. It's hard. It's too hard to put yourself up, but taking care of others would be a real sainthood. All we can do for Tyra is let her cry freely without interruption. To be able to complain with such difficult feelings with tears. It could have been me instead. It's ugly and noisy. What? Yeah, it's all because of you. I know that well. I know you well enough. If you feel guilty like that, write a will and commit suicide already. Damn. Brutal. Yeah, considering it was self-defense and accidental in the dark, like, I don't think it's her fault. Hey, what did you say, Kincho? Say it again. Oh, that's a new face. Damn, it's better to get behind a bitch blackened like you. Blackened? Kinja, you crazy? Why are you suddenly saying all this stuff? I hate this the most. In my true sense, a blackened is suddenly convicted of innocence to avoid the law. Blackened? You mean Tyra? Is there anyone else who fits? Stop! This is all bullshit. How many times has it been revealed that the stabbing Tyra did to Tamori was an accident? Is that, is that really what you say to someone who just lost a friend after their death? An accident? Of course it was. Kizuna Tamori started it all. However, who made the final blows, no matter the pretext, must be punished. The two were punished and killed, right? Taira Akane, who was at the heart of the case, more than them, is alive and clean from this. Have you forgotten? Even if this woman had killed Tamori in accident, in the class trial, Akane Taira made a false statement to hide her crimes. Yeah, it's true. She lied about being in the kitchen. What would have happened if we were caught in that lie? Isn't it terrible to imagine? Directly or indirectly, Taira Akane must be almost put all of us at risk. But she couldn't help it, could she? Taira knew she was guilty, and she knew she would be executed if she told the truth. Then she shouldn't have done that in the first place. No matter how much of an accident you think it makes sense to go and wash the... right. No matter how much of an accident you think it was, it makes sense to go and wash the blood and destroy evidence as you stab Tamori. A girl who's willing to say that they're innocent, isn't it normal to at least support Tamori and give her first aid or call Inori as soon as possible? It's got somewhat of a point, but given that you'd definitely be panicked and confused and you wouldn't really be thinking straight, they do have a point. Please think of Tyra. The accident might not have happened. May have happened. A rescue might have occurred because she was in a state of panic. Now, I'm confident in this. If Tyra Akane really was the Blackened, it's certain for a fact that she would try to trick us with selfish thoughts. Stop talking, Kinjo, you bastard. I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. Oh, calm down, Koba Boxer. Get your fist down, manly boy. You guys need to look at things objectively. What she did is wrong in every sense. There's still a lot to talk about, but I don't think it's the right time when everyone is on edge and confused like they are now. It's late today, so go to bed. I'll talk with you all tomorrow morning. This is like exactly how the last one ended. Is every trial going to end with him saying controversial things and everyone else getting mad at him? Hey, wait, dude, if you want to talk, then stop. Hey, you bastard. You going to leave us just like that? Hey. Why is Kinjo doing this? It's like Kinjo's creating a separation between us. So what do we do now? Is Tyra going to recover? Losing a loved one is a very difficult feeling. Ah, that's right. Tyra, are you okay? She's definitely not okay, especially after hearing all that. Oh God, I'm sorry, 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 I'm sorry. She might actually kill herself if she's not watched closely. Tyra's all good now. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? She's definitely not all good. Let's all rest for today. I don't feel good after a class trial. It's already late, near dawn. Go, sleep. Let's do as Kurokawa suggests. Honestly, I can't afford to think right now. We'll listen to Kinjo tomorrow. Today, we're going to go to sleep. Okay, I feel like the more we do this, the harder we have to work. Everyone, let's have a good night's sleep. Wow. Being in such a situation is unusual in itself, but the current situation was much more than the first trial. Kinjo, who should lead everyone, seems to be getting twisted more and more, and our friends start to lose their lives one by one. What can I do at times like these? Play around with everyone and relax while learning about them? Follow my own dreams? Right now, I think it's impossible for anything to happen. I have no more power to think anymore. Let's sleep for today. I returned to my room. When I left the courtroom and returned to the dormitory, I greeted some of my friends and tried to chat a little, but everyone seemed to have no energy. It's no wonder. Only 3 or 4 hours passed before returning to my room, but within those 3 or 4 hours, we lost very precious things. Feels like it's been years, and then it's been only 3 or 4 hours since the body discovery announcement. That's crazy. The stiff door in bed that couldn't be comfortable is now feeling better than anything else. Tired. Desperate situation in which we taste the despair of our death, of our friends, and do not know whether we'll be able to stand up. To stand up again. What kind of despair awaits us tomorrow? Now, I don't even think there's hope anywhere. Now I've only passed a second-class trial, but this is not the end. The despair surrounding us was approaching, involving us deeper and deeper. Is that the end of chapter 2? What is this? Hey, hello. I don't know if you're comfortable. Do you feel uncomfortable? We're in jail? It would be weird if you were tied up in a public place like this, but if you're comfortable, no way. If it is comfortable, you're a true masochist? But you're not, right? Oh well, I came here to bring the meal again today. Your appearance is still there, so take good care of your health until then. What the hell is this? By the way, who could have thought you would be led like this? I'm really sorry for being like this and having to lock you up. In fact, it'd be so nice if I let everyone stay with you too. Your body is one that cannot age, isn't it? What the hell? Still haughty, huh? I like it. It'll be alright when your turn comes. This is the 16th student? By that time, how many people will survive? Huh? What? Ah, I getcha. It's because that woman you love is still alive. There's nothing to worry about. I'll go there then, because if I'm not watching, I don't know what those guys will try to pull. So, see you next time! Someone's tied up. Body that doesn't age, and the woman that they love is still alive. I don't know who the hell that's talking about. There we go. Chapter 2 and the natural balance between dream and bonds. And honestly, yeah, that was pretty an apropos title, given Akane and Yame's relationship. All right, there we go. That was a really good chapter. That was a good trial. And yeah, I'm definitely saving. And I'm going to get out here. So I'll just do a brief outro because I've been filming or recording for a long time, and I have to go soon. But that was a good class trial. It was really complex. I ended up actually guessing the culprit and a decent amount of how, like, the fire, all that stuff, and the reasons to suspect Yame were all things that I brought up. I did not consider a lot of things. As I said, I didn't really consider Kizuna's involvement. Didn't really consider Akane's, how involved Akane was. So in that regard, yeah, definitely a lot of twists and turns, kept me guessing, but I feel pretty satisfied with how much I was able to figure out in that trial. Definitely better than the first one. It was so much longer, though. I'm definitely going to have to do these probably in multiple sittings going forward if they're going to be that long. Also, partially because I just died a lot. So hopefully I can get that skill where I can get more hearts, because that was quite annoying, especially since sometimes they put me back like really far. And I'm really grateful I have speed up on this emulator, but because if I didn't, it would take so long. But anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this class trial. If you also found it a significant step up from the first trial like I did. And yeah, let me know what you think about Ayame being the killer as well. She's definitely a much more sympathetic killer than Mitch was. So that was nice to see, and it's going to be interested to see. I'll be interested to see how a lot of characters act going forward, but mostly Akane and Tsurugi. Yeah, so if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like the video and subscribe for more. Thanks so much for watching, and have a fantastic day.